Fire for your mind. Culture Clinician.
Face your parents. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans.
Are foreign women the best option for American men in the West? You decide.
A husband is your protection and provision. So, and I can't speak for all foreign women, but in those countries where there is no social programs, like, there's no EBT, there's no SNAP help, there's, no stimulus checks, none of that. There's no matriarchy. And I think that's a big issue here, is that women are told they deserve the world for just being women. And with that mindset, when you don't feel like you have to earn anything, the first man that comes up to you, you'll be like, well, what can you do to impress me? I'm the prize. I was told I was the prize since, I was 10 or so.
Passport bros, you guys ready for another success story? The house is spotless. She cooks every day, and I've just taught her the only thing she needs to know in English. Oh, thank you, honey. Say something.
Yes, Daddy.
See?
Shout out to Brazil. You see this? I do this for the culture, to let them know what it look like. Oh, y'all don't know that? Shout out to Brazil. Yeah, these are my shirts. Go on my website if you want one. Got Colombia, all that. Shout out to everybody that's really delving into the culture, yo. Brazil for real. That's what I do. But to all the cultures out there, we more than just. I just love the fact that we showing all of the dudes that travel that we more than just one thing. And we doing without even trying, yo. We creating stuff for us, real travelers, yo. But shout out to all them cats, man. We doing it. We just getting started. That's the crazy way. Somebody gonna say, yeah, the world watching, y'all look crazy. No, we look beautiful. We look handsome. All the people that's traveling. A single man who makes $62,000 a year, does he really need a woman? We're gonna get into it, right? You minus $11,000 out in taxes. It might be lower, it might be higher, who knows? It's just speculation. So $11,000 in taxes since he's a single man, that brings it down to $51,000. $51,000 minus the $1,000 he's going to pay in the South with a decent apartment, $1,000 in rent. So $1,000, that's $12,000. So $51,000 minus 12, you're gonna get left with $39,000. $39,000. Maybe he want his apartment clean. $39,000. Now you got to get his apartment clean. $45 a week times 52. That's gonna leave you with $2,340. So now you're left with $36,660. Right? Foreign women want your attention. American women or women in westernized societies want attention from everybody else at the expense of you. I'm about to show y'all a real foreign woman. Y'all want to see her?
Podem ver, e hoje eu vou mostrar para vocês eu servando aqui a massa, tá? Eu mesmo se servar. Eu vou mostrar para vocês um pouco de eu servando.
See, dudes won't get what they just saw. It'll go right over their heads. They used to contrive femininity, phoniness, a woman not willing to pick up a woman not willing to even bring you a plate, yo. All I ask is you bring me a plate.
I do have a question for the Passport Bros. When are y'all gonna take charge and lead your own movement? Like, instead of sitting on this app gaslighting every fucking body, when are y'all just gonna leave? Like, y'all can't even lead yourselves out of the countries, but y'all wanna lead the families. I'm hella confused on what's happening here. When are y'all actually going?
So it's this thing called the Passport Bro. It's just like this whole movement going abroad and pursuing women there who are more traditional. Let me just say more traditional, opposed to women in the United States. Clearly, women out here, specifically black women, are feeling some type of way, but they don't know how to really be real about it. They don't really know how to be real about it. You really should be thinking, okay, this is not most of the male population, but, you know, it is starting to become a thing where men are stepping out of the U.S. Men are stepping out ethnicities. Men are tired of United States women. We should be trying to see what we can do to keep them here. I would think, you know, what can we do to keep them here? That's what the mindset should be. Not giving all this bashing attitude like that's going to make them stay.
For women next to us.
Yes, sir.
You want me to not smile and not how about I feel like if everybody else can get a rainbow flag or a certain color flag to tell the whole world, hey, guess what? Look at me. I'm coming out. Look at me, everybody. Look at me. So you're telling me that I have to oppress myself and hide my frustrations. Mm-hmm. You're telling me I have to oppress myself and hide my depression. Why can't I come out smiling and say, hey, guess what? I'm in Brazil and I got this pretty young chick and I'm thinking about marrying her and she's half my age and I'm smiling in all my photos. Black men don't smile. And there's a reason for that. Because you've been literally taught to oppress yourself. So my thing is, when I come out and if I want to tell the whole plan, you know what I do? You probably, if you watch.
And for those that don't know what Passport Bros are, they are.
I'm tired of America, so I'm hitting Richie on the net. I got the tickets, that's a bet. We need the link, my brother set it up. Damn, I didn't had enough. Ooh, I won't lie. Can I get a little shake with them fries? My skin tone is matching your eyes. Black men, you know we like them thighs. And baby, she can do it all. Your land is my land.
Pain. I've been there. Locked up inside my head. Broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? Despair. I've been there too. Desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood. Hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress, suffering in a utility silo, no comfort, no security.
The kosher clinician.
All right, guys, we're going to have a powerful show on tonight as I have my man Brazil Yesh in the house as we talk about the emergence of the Blue Book Gentleman. This is going to be another classic show on tonight as I bring it to you live from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. Get your pens and paper ready, guys, as Brazil Yesh and I talk about the phenomena of the Passport Bros and the Blue Book Gentleman. Let's go. About to get into it. All right, we got my man Brazil Yesh in the house, and I count it an honor and a pleasure to break bread with this brother. It's been a minute. And, Brazil Yesh is like one of these five-star recruits. He's like a McDonald's All-American. I've been trying to recruit him for a long time. Coach Dean Smith used to do when he was trying to recruit Michael Jordan. Tell the audience who you are. This thing sounds a little muffled. And tell the people why you're so passionate about male empowerment and world travel.
Wow, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining your show, man. It's dope to be here. I saw something years ago when I was in my 20s. I saw it earlier than that, but I was saying to myself, I said, yo, men are shying away from what it's like to be men. Now, of course, you got cancerous men. You have men that are all over the place. You got men that ain't right in the head, men that have emotional problems. But there's some good men all over this earth, especially in the United States of America. But a lot of people are shying away from it. I saw them pushing it away from it. Since the 80s, when I was a kid, the talk shows were attacking us more. The daytime shows was attacking us. The movies I was like, man, this is crazy. So as I gotten older, I saw it in like the 2000s. I was like, man, it's going in a direction that it's not good. Like, you got to adjust yourself and you got to placate to women. You basically got to buy their affection. You got to beg, and all of that type of stuff. And I'm like, man, forget that Keith Sweat type of thing, baby, I'm begging and all of that type of stuff. I said, man, I'm seeing it more and more and more. And then eventually, I had a coming to let's say Jesus moment where somebody put me on it. I was doing Blog Talk Radio back in like 2007, 2006, 8, around there. And so one guy was like, man, you got to travel, man, and go here. And he was one of these Hebrew Israelites. And he was chopping up with me. He was like, man, you got to go here. You got to travel. And I was like, I ain't into that. So I knew where the scope was going. After my last date with a chick, I thought, oh, man, you got to respect all women. All women are decent.
Right.
I said, let me do something. Let me take her out on a date, respect her, even though she got children. And I was playing like that single father role. And I didn't want to do that to myself. So after, she wouldn't even give me she barely wanted to give me a hug. All of the dates that we went on and stuff like that, I was like, man, it's going in the direction where it shouldn't go. Then I saw men at an all-time high suicide rates, being accused of kids that's not actually theirs. And it really started like going crazy for me. And I was like, man, I'm tired of it. So with all of the accumulation of all of these events throughout my life from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, and I said something has to change.
Well, you know, what you're saying is very profound, Brazil, and it's also consistent with Dr. William Glasser. I am a licensed therapist, bringing to you live from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. And you appear to be a Gen Xer, I'm going to assume. Are you a Gen Xer?
No, I'm like the borderline. I'm like the borderline of Gen X and millennial, like right there on the borderline. Yeah.
Okay. So you're probably around like 39-ish, 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you remember a time where there was more normalcy, but things began to proliferate in a negative way. And you're 100% right. Consistent with the model that I always use because it's very universal. Dr. William Glasser, Brazil Yesh, said that needs drive behaviors. And the 5 elemental principles of Dr. William Glasser was power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But however, it sounds like to me that you're from up top, right? You sound like you're from New York and New Jersey. Where are you from?
I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey. Man.
You're from Jersey City, right? And I can hear that because when I was playing ball in high school, I went to this camp called Prep Stars in Charlotte, and I remember the cats from Hoboken, New Jersey. You know where Hoboken is?
Yeah, that's right next door. Yeah.
Oh, it's right next door. Okay, no doubt. And so, when did you realize that Brazil Yesh potentially was a simp, and when did you go to your simp recovery program?
It was the last moment where I was talking to the lady. It was 2 incidences that happened. One right before I started traveling. Right, it was a lady I met at a nightclub. She said, so we mingling in a nightclub. I'm buying her drinks at the bar. So she said, let's go get something to eat. The club is about to close. I never forget this. In Atlanta, Georgia, Buckhead. And that's when Buckhead was jumping back in the day. And so she said, yeah, let's go get some. So we went right across the street. Everybody knowing Buckhead, they used to have that Waffle House there. Everybody left the club. They had a long strip of clubs. And people go to that Waffle House. So while she's in the Waffle House, tight jeans on, looking good and all that, looking attractive. What I thought was attractive until I started traveling. And she said, let's go over here. So she's chomping on food and it's dropping out her mouth. And she said, I ain't paid for food in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what?
Wow.
And then my level for wanting to date in America went all the way down to 50%. So I started like not really talking to anybody or whatever like that for the next coming months. And then there was another incident right before I traveled. It was the single mother with the 2 fraternal twins. And she had the 2 fraternal twins. And when I went now mind you, I done spent loads of money us dating for the past 2.5, 3 months.
Right.
She never gave me a hug. She never gave me a kiss. Right. Because I work with this. She used to come. I worked with this company, and she used to come, and she used to be a temp agent for the company. And so she always was dressed nice and stuff like that. So that's how we started, quote unquote, dating. And then after 2.5 months, I tried to go in the lean and give her a kiss finally. She was like, oh, they're going to see you. Like her kids. And I was like,
really? Oh, wow.
I was like, man, forget all of this. And so she was like, she didn't want to do it. I stopped talking to every American woman from that point on and never dated. And now all of the pretty women in Atlanta that I would like come forward to and talk to any kind of way, they love me. They love me. But the moment I tried to do that sim stuff, well, let me give this single mother a try and all of that type of stuff. And maybe I'm too hard on women. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. So we get those soul sessions, and that was the last time, and that was a long time ago, and I never turned back from those 2 particular moments. It was only 2 moments that woke me up.
Well, it sounds like to me that Brazil Yesh, a young man, evolved And we all had to go through an evolution in order to become better versions of ourselves. But guys, in the meantime, as we evolve, we got Brazil Yesh in the house. It doesn't get any better than Brazil Yesh, guys. It don't get no better than Brazil Yesh because his content is floating throughout the universe and YouTube. And guys, go subscribe to his channel because the brother's been very generous with allowing people to post his clips. And also, guys, hit the like button. Donate to the channel because Brazil Yesh and I both know the content creation is very time consuming. So if you like what we're doing, donate to the channel, Cash App $7 Smalls. If you don't have money, just share the stream. But I need 5 people to donate to the channel. I need 5 people to hit the Cash App. If you got questions for Brazil Yesh or I, drop a donation or drop a Cash App, and we more or less have a conversation. But in the meantime, guys, the robot just came to me and gave me a text. The robot said, tell them Negroes to get them likes up. Now, Brazil Yesh, one of your favorite terms is that I did it for the culture. And that's a very powerful term. And we're going to assume that when you say I did it for the culture, you're talking about the culture of an emergent masculinity where men are beginning to live their lives on their own terms, free of distress, consistent with the theoretical model or the therapeutic model called the right to self-determination under the umbrella of ethics. Why did you say I do it for the culture and why that's so relevant as you continue to push this movement for the empowerment of black men, but more or less all men in general?
Yeah, you said something that was key, right? Let me jump on ethics, right? People would rather be part of ethical cancer than the thing that can destroy it. Let me repeat. That's one of my quotes from my book. People would rather be part of ethical culture, ethical cancer, rather than the thing that destroys it. I'm here to destroy and dispel all of the things said about men for the last past years. And we're part of this culture. And travel is now part of our culture. It's part of something that we're shaping. Now, we have time to form it. Don't get me wrong. But it's time to remove the cancer. The cancer is being a part of a certain form of music that you don't agree with. The baby I'm begging, women can do no wrong and anything like that. And let's go out and party. Let's burn money. Let's throw money out the window. That's part of culture, right? Art, how we display ourselves, what we put on, what we do. Scantily clad and them putting on makeup, calling themselves, well, you ain't real, and putting us on this certain criteria when they're not it. They're wearing makeup that's not, that's not their natural skin, putting loads of it on, right? Enough that they can bake a cake, false hair and all of that. I said that's part of our culture. Men who be placating to a woman who they necessarily not going to get, but they focus on the negativity just to say, yo, listen, I'm down in these men so I can look good in your eyes, right? We're talking about dating and marriage period, the divorce system, the courts being against men, and men got to fight so long, and naturally they give women, the court system naturally gives women to children of women that are unfit, and that father could be the most significant part of that's part of our culture, the norms that we made this normal, right? The religion, the spiritual systems, the Erykah Badu's, knowing that they're not good, knowing that they have one focal point, knowing that these guys only trying to be part of the woman saying, I'm wholesome, I'm this, and knowing that it's false, churches and all of that type of stuff. All of this, and I can list all education, saying that they're the most educated, but nothing comes from that. Right. You get what I'm saying? Just to be in competition with the men in the United States of America, instead of being part. So all of this is part of culture, all of this. So the feminist ideology, right? To depict men as this, so that way they can get closer to women, to remove them from their connection to men, which is natural. So all of this is culture. We're saying, we're going to shape something different, right? We're going to move here. I started something called travel music, where it's a feel-good music that fellas want to go. I've started something with clear your mind, put your head down and work. Monk mode, which is something that I adopted from other acronyms on the
Right.
internet as well
Yes,
as in
sir.
person. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Art, how we form ourselves, the way we dress. That's all part of this that we're creating and formulating our own idea. Now it's just beginning. So that's culture. It's going to start shaping itself the
Excellent.
more we put our intellectual brain
Excellent,
behind it.
excellent. That's excellent. I like that, man. That's very intellectual, man. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my man AJ Shaka. He said another classic episode. Looking forward to the knowledge display on this production. The question is for Brazil Yesh is this: what's the playbook for Gen Z movement? Gen Z men with passport moving forward in 2020 and beyond. Hold tight, and that's a deal, right? I appreciate it.
That's a deal, right?
And then also shout out to XL Pro.
That's a bet, right?
For the $5 cash out.
That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Well, to answer his question, we have something called Blue Exit 2023. We're behind the scenes moving in covert operations to make these travels all encompassing for the Gen Z guys, the millennial guys, and all of the Gen X and so forth and so on. But if the Gen Z guys could be a part of this, they might have fear to travel overseas, right? But we have something that we're forming right now, and it'll be out in the next coming weeks. It's called Blue Exit, hashtag Blue Exit 2023. And we're moving and letting people know, listen, we're going to be here. Set your time, set your dates, set your here, because we got to move a little differently. And that way, Gen Z guys can come on who've never traveled outside the country, and they can get their passports. Go down to the local post office. It's only $125, $175, depending on what it is. They'll bring your birth certificate, have an original birth certificate, bring your social security card, bring everything down there. Gen Z guys need to focus on just getting their passports and allocating their resources toward travel. That's what I have for those guys, and that's what we're working on.
Well, you know, I coined the term Brazil Yesh called affection deprivation. And affection deprivation basically means this. It means that the things that you talked about earlier is something that men are going through now. They're going through the lack of that genteel spirit that your grandmother, your great-grandmother had in the past, because femininity is a catalyst or a magnet that can get a man or help that man become the best version of himself. Some women think Brazil Yesh that box alone is enough that can keep a man in a relationship, but I say, and I digress, that is not. While box does play a role, box alone is not equivocable for a masculine and a very evolved man. Box will get you in the relationship, but it'll never keep you. Because now Brazil Yesh, box now is like damn 99 cents on the pound, almost like Walton bologna or them Frosted Morning hot dogs. But, when we were men, box was like $9.99 on the pound. And but now it's worthless because it's devalued. And so there's a primitive mindset associated with some men that aggrandize box at the rate or the expense of their masculinity. You went through an evolution process where you said, no longer will I denigrate myself for the sake of affection deprivation. You created your own reality, and when you created your own reality, not only did you gain confidence, you became a better version of yourself. What's your take on affection deprivation and the struggles and the crises that many men in America go through in this current milieu called America?
Well, I hate to do it again to you. You think I'm trying to one-up you, and I don't want your audience to think that.
Oh, no,
right?
no, not at all.
But it's something, affection deprivation.
Deprivation.
Deprivation, right? That's what it's called, correct?
Yeah. I created a term called affection deprivation. Yes, sir.
And guess what I coined the term? Femininity deprivation.
Okay. It ties into it. It ties into it. And I wrote that in one of my books. And what I'm saying is guys are not used to now think about this. There are 4 steps to a woman with femininity. And I'm not going to be long-winded on this. There are 4 steps of women in femininity, right? They got to be around men, right? They got to touch men. They got to be in their own circles, and they got to beautify themselves. Again, those are the 4 steps to women in their femininity. Guys need that affection, like you're saying, right? Affection deprivation. Dudes want to be around that. Dudes want to see their women touch them. They want to see them be around other women that are just as feminine as them, right? And thirdly, they also want to be around an environment
that's all encompassing. Like the woman is doing stuff for them, the woman is showing. Men are lacking that, and there's a fourth one, but men are lacking that,
Right.
and men want that, they yearn it, they see that, and for men not to have that, it's like you're removing something that's part of male and female nature, right? It's something that's connected to them that we need. Men need to look like they do, feel the need to do something. It's just in us. Those hormonal balances that we need. Again, her femininity is a hormonal balance to our masculinity.
Right.
There's something that, and it creates norepinephrine levels that go up for us, that help us, and it cushions us in our mental aspect. But
Yes, sir.
a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that guys just don't need it. You just need to move on because you're not chosen, or move on. It's something that men need that's natural. And if you don't get that, we see the repercussions of that. We see the results of us not getting it. Men say, instead of us not getting it, we're going to get it, but we're going to move over here.
Well, what you're saying, man, is consistent with psychoanalytic theory, once again postulated by Dr. William Glasser. Psychoanalytic theory is tied into what's called choice theory. Choice theory is tied into what's called reality therapy. And we're going to get into it in a minute. But Brazil Yesh, what happened to the good woman? What happened to the good woman similar to what your grandmother and perhaps your mother was? What happened to the good woman?
The good woman, prostitution. Prostitution was one of them, right? Education. You're educated and putting that above family, right? The feminism, that was above family. The religious aspect, where they put the preacher in the same reverence as God. You see what I'm saying? Those are the things in the food, the diets.
The diets, yes.
Change. Right, so all of these aspects removed. That grandma used to be the cooking was the one that bring the family together, right? Grandmama, her subtleties, how she can be the brokest one out the group, but she lends everybody the money. She had the most money in the room. For instance, what was the movie that Chris Brown was in, where the TV fell on the ground and all of a sudden there was millions of dollars inside the TV. So these are things that the family lacked, and they had they was okay with being older. They was okay with being an elder. They was okay with being somebody that the family would seek for wisdom. Women nowadays want to compete with the women that are younger than them. They want to stay relevant. They want to kick up dirt. They want to cause division. So that's what happened. The mothers back then would be guiders or the very ones that the women sought for their wisdom or for their natural nature.
You know, Brazil Yesh, you said something very profound, and you have a book, and we're going to get into your book as well. But you're talking about the neuroepinephrines. Maybe I'm saying it right. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Neuroepinephrine. Yeah.
Neuroepinephrines. So in the clinical world, it's a concept called somatoform or psychosomatic. Psycho is the body, psycho is the mind, soma is the body. When a feminine woman vibrates the femininity, the psyche of a man, it causes a healthy reaction for the body in the form of an endorphin rush, but also it's a dopamine hit when a man feels and get around a feminine woman, which in essence, Brazil Yesh, can not only build your testosterone levels, but also it can also increase your immune system. Is it fair to say that the lack of femininity is actually killing men at a biomolecular level, in your opinion?
Yeah, think about this. We're going to jump into this. There are several factors to that, right? Stress weather, right? Stress weather. What is stress weather? Now, again, all of this is part of it, and with men and women, but more so men, what we're talking about, because I vibe for men.
Right.
Stress weather, noise stress, food. What is mood? Mood is the conscious mind that is predominant over our current emotions, right? What is behavior? Behavior is how you conduct yourself in an action through the stimuli that's actually responding to your current environment. Yo, all of that is part of it. So if the man stresses off, if the woman stresses off, and they're not in their natural state, this is what's going to be a catalyst for things to be off, as you say, right? The behavior. Now, if the mood is off, the behavior got to follow.
Right.
So now my activity is not in alignment with what I want to project because now my mood is off, right? Noise stressors. You got people in your ear telling you certain stuff, or you got your conscious mind which is currently showing, and it's throwing you off from actually evaluating the situation and making adjustments to it. That's what happens in most of these instances. And then the food, what you're ingesting.
Right.
The food is part of it. The GMOs that constantly goes in your bodies every day.
Right.
You're not drinking enough water. You're
Right.
not taking enough vegetables. All of this stuff is part of it. Man, I can talk about this all day.
No. We're going to get into it. You're an intellectual. I love your energy, man. Yeah. I don't know when you were born, man, but you got that Aquarian swag, man.
Oh, yeah. January 24th. Yeah.
You Aquarian? Oh, how did I know it, man? How did I know it? How did I guess it? Man? Damn, you the damn the Wallaberry. You're intellectual, man. And you see things from a cerebral perspective, but watch this. But also, you are socially independent, and it makes sense that you are a passport bro and a passport traveler, or a blue book gentleman, to say the least. It makes a lot of sense now, which basically means you live your life on your own terms. Now, guys, if y'all got questions for Brazil Yesh, drop a super chat or a cash app, and Brazil Yesh will answer your question. Go donate to his channel. Good brother. I love his content. And I look forward to having him back on the show at some time in the future. But I need you guys to donate to the channel, because if you guys know, content creation is very time consuming, and it takes a lot of time to put these shows together. But in the meantime, when did the fall of femininity happen in your mind, Brazil Yesh? When did it happen? You know, if you had to put it on a timeline, when did it happen?
Oh man, I think I think in the 80s. I really think even before I was born. I think it started in the late 70s, early 80s, right? And I think there was something that the media was purporting, right? Is to me, I coined it in one of my books again, called the psychological decoy, right? This is the psychological or mental state, right? Now, again, mental, psychological, psychology, mental. Decoy. Decoy is a lure, is a trap. Decoy is to draw somebody away from something, right?
Right.
And that's what the media meant. Again, it's called psychological decoy. It was meant to drive women away from their femininity. It was to drive them away from the home, drive them away from the feeling of being around masculinity. When you destroy the jobs, right? You ruin the job market. So now there are no jobs for the men to go to. So now you lessen the importance of a man in the family. So that's when femininity start, to me, subsiding. It really started having a subversive effect on femininity. And it happened. To me, that was the response from it. And then the environment, when you build an environment where a woman is taking care of everything, when a woman is receiving something from the government, it's going to make her femininity impossible to even articulate in that sense. So they start doing it through the Oprah show. They started Sally Jesse Raphael, Jerry Springer, all of these shows. This is Ricky Lake. So all of these shows and everything on TV was part of that. And they start forming that from the 50s and 40s and late 1800s, but it starts taking shape because, as you know, women, there's two differences, right? Women internalize things, men are very visual. So if you can put that on TV every day, soap operas and all of that type of stuff, and you can ingratiate women's minds in that, and they say, damn, I am strong. Oh, I am doing it by myself. Oh, I am the woman that's in the office controlling everything and keeping this company afloat. Eventually, the femininity will trickle down from those women that were lone wolves all the way down to the family women if you keep doing it for the next 30 and 40 and 50 years.
Right. Similar to a concept called matrilineal succession, where it goes down the matrilineal line. And, you know, it's a concept also called negative socialization. And, you know, what you're seeing now is negative socialization. But see, what you got in Brazil, South America, and Africa, because there's a patriarchy, the women continue to elude or more or less emote behaviors or emotions that are consistent with what's necessary for the functioning of a man. And I keep telling women over and over again, Brazil Yesh, femininity is there greatest strength, not their ability to be combative and fighting a man. Being a feminine woman is a man's greatest asset. I call it a feminine oscillator, almost like a fresh perfume, almost like a spray, because what it does, it recalibrates the mind, the soul, body, and spirit. And they don't understand that when Delilah came to Samson, Brazil, she didn't use masculinity, but she used her femininity. She was smooth. She probably had on perfume. She probably had a soft voice. She probably had her hair up in a bonnet. And that's how women were years ago. They used their femininity to be the oscillator the man need to become the better version of himself. But see, women now don't get it because they've been conditioned to compete with men instead of to become interdependent with men. Because watch this, Brazil Yesh. I said that the woman was optimized from the womb to be synchronized with the man. When a woman becomes optimized to become synchronized, they have what's called mental calibration and soul fusion. But they forgot that. They forgot the importance of soul fusion because they were too busy competing with men instead of learning to become interdependent with their men, which is the greatest asset to building a strong community. Shout out to my man Gregory Scotland for the $25 super sticker. He said, salute to Kosher and Brazil Yesh super show. We have seen within the past weeks, we have seen hyena, black female behavior validating passport bro, Blue Book Gentleman, and SYSBM, and that's a deal, right? And because of that, Gregory Scotland, you are the #1 sponsor of this stream, brother. I appreciate it. Hold tight.
Right? That's the deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Hold tight.
Salute to him.
Yeah. Good brother, man. Good brother. Gregory said, check out the book by Michelle Wallace called Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman in 1971. The book played a key role in the 1980s feminist ideals amongst women. What's your take on that, brother?
Again, I haven't read the book. I heard about it, but but it's all encompassing what we've been speaking about right now. It's the same thing, but this is why we're here now, because women recognized this a long time ago. Women even saw this. Shahrazad Ali, who everybody always mentions, called this out so long ago. So we know there were women out there to articulate this on their side from their perspective, and it makes sense to me to have all these books or have even a few authors corroborate what men have been saying for years.
Yeah, and I count this movement, man, and I think it is a movement, as a declaration of liberation as it relates to the mental, social, physical, and also financial oppression of the American male. You know, Brazil Yesh, there was a famous patriot. I think it was I can't think of his name, but he said, "Give me liberty or give me death," and that's what black men and American men are saying now. But see, the modern woman wants taxation without representation, and then that taxation without representation has led to the mental oppression of the American male. What percentage, Brazil Yesh, of women in America are feminine, in your opinion, from a subjective view? Because we don't know, I don't know, but we're looking at through an anecdotal lens. What percentage of women, in your opinion, are feminists? Are feminine women? Thomas Paine, right?
From an anecdotal perspective, and just because we just winging it right now, I'll say about, I'll go as low as. Man, thinking about I'll go as low as about 28%. I'll go low as 28%, man.
Right, and I think that's liberal. I mean, conservative. I think that's very I think that's very liberal, man. I think it's actually lower than that. But we know that there's a remnant of good women left, and we're not here to castigate aspersions to that percentage. But let's talk about your time growing up in New Jersey. What were some of the things that you saw? And you gave me an example of the baby mama, but what were you looking for in a woman and a wife? And what were some of your major frustrations, minus that episode or that case that you had with the baby mama?
I saw, like, again, growing up in Jersey City, New Jersey, I seen my cousin love a woman, and the woman just sleep with his brother, right? I've seen cases like that. I've seen cases where guys put their all in women. I'm talking about all in women, and it's never enough.
Right.
I've seen. Now, we're talking about from my own experience. So again, it's going to be anecdotal.
Anecdotal, yes, sir.
Yeah. So I've seen that in my own personal view. I've seen like good fellas who took care of the household, took care of and it still wasn't enough. She'll curse him out, be up in his face. Again, I grew up in a time where the women were considered as very rough. If a woman went from the South, who left the North and went to the South, the women in the South would say, "Oh, y'all put up with those women up there? Oh, these women are rough. They seem so manly. They seem this and that." So I've seen all of that. But my own experiences, man, I haven't had a lot of them. Most of the women coming up, they wanted to mimic what they seen. I don't need a man. He's a scrub, because you remember these were the conversations where women were transitioning when I was a teenager to in my 20s. They were transitioning. They were, I don't need a scrub. I don't need a man. The men are so sorry. So this is what I brought up to. Have I met good women in the process that I could say when I was a teenager and they was a teenager, I was 17, they were 17, 18, 19. That probably happened. When I was 19 years old, here's the crazy part about it. My first real experience. Now, again, I'm a late bloomer. I lost my virginity at 18, right? When I was 19, I was dealing with a 35-year-old woman. 19 years old, a 35-year-old woman wanted to sleep with my teenager self. I want the audience to let that set in.
Right.
There was one day I went in her house, right? And this would change me about women. I went in her house. She had 2 little 7-year-olds, right? Fraternal twins. She had a mother that stayed upstairs. She had a son that was about 12 years old, and she had another daughter that was 15. Now, I'm 19, the daughter's 15.
Wow.
We went in her room. Now, mind you, I'm a teenager still. I'm 19.
Yes, sir.
We went in her room. We did our thing. She was making loud noises. I told her, me as a teenager, I said, man, you need to be quiet. This house is very small. She had an upstairs and downstairs, but it was small. I said, your mother's going to hear it. Your daughter's going to hear it. You know what came out her mouth would change me about dating and marriage in the United States?
Go ahead, brother.
She said, I don't care. My mother need to leave anyway.
Oh, my God. Man, you know what? You said something that a show I did recently, man. Dennis Sperling, he was on Shay Sade. And I'm going to play this clip about how a lot of these women have been hoeing. It ain't nothing new, but they're trying to shame men for traveling abroad, seeing women talking about tricking. But you know, Megan the Robot told me to tell you, Brazil Yesh, that women are doing this.
They tricking y'all. They tricking y'all.
Yeah, they tricking the world, man. They tricking and they lying, and they also are celesting young men like yourself, because Shay Sade said this.
I'm under a ton of scrutiny from men and especially from women. But one of the things that I did not recognize was that while passport bros are being accused of being just belligerent, degenerate, leftover sex tourists, not only are these women doing the same thing, they're probably doing it so much more.
There was a book by Bianca C. Williams called The Pursuit of Happiness. The way I found out about it is because they're using this book.
So this Paris, Brazil Yesh, a similar talking point that you were talking about, the what I call the hoification of the modern woman was more or less transmitted to you as a 19-year-old boy. And see, folks don't understand that when you look at the R. Kelly situation, even though you were a young adult, it's borderline being a pedophile. But see, we don't talk about the behaviors of women. We just sweep it under the rug. But you had a 35-year-old woman soliciting herself to a young man, basically a child, a kid. and her kids were close to your age. And that lets you see the dysfunction that a lot of these women are transmitting not only to their children, but many boys. In your best estimation, why is it so that so many women are gynocratic, but there's no visceral consequence for their sad, bad behavior? But before you tell me, shout out to my man Jamal for the $20 super sticker. He said, Coach and Yesh, wow, this is straight power, no doubt.
That's a
and
bet,
that's a deal,
right?
right?
That's
I
a
appreciate
deal,
it.
right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Well,
got 5 on it.
Break it down for me, man, because you see the parallel, man.
I think they had regret from their mothers. I'm just going to be honest. They came from that generation. Now, no knock to nobody in their generation. I'm saying it from my again, it's my assumptions and from what I've acquired all of these years. I spoke to her and she had resentment toward her mother. She had this deep resentment toward her mother because she should have been more advanced in life. She should have been more put together in life. She should have had everything that she needed and wanted. And I'm like, well, isn't need, and I'm having conversations with her at 19. I'm like, isn't the need more important than the want? And she was like, no, I should have both of them. I said, but that's not how life works. And so she had this ultimate resentment. So I think that a lot of these women that are coming up, they have resentment for their mothers for not mimicking what they see on the internet, not mimicking what they see on TV. And I think that's just to me, that's just simple. It's just that. Is that, yo, you providing the need, but I want the want. And I see everything on TV. I've seen Bad Girls Club back in the day. I've seen Real World. I've seen all of this particular stuff of women living a high life. And I wanted to mimic that. And because you didn't give it to me, then again, between men and women, and let's just be honest, there's a parasitic to host relationship. The parasite wants to feed on a host as much as they can. If your mother never had a host, think about this. If your mother never had a host and you can internalize her having a host, that means that she didn't provide something for you from a host and put it off to you so that way you can learn the game to be a parasite also.
Right, I see your point. Right. Almost like a female lion teaching her cubs how to hunt meat to some degree. And that more or less goes back to Maslow hierarchy of needs. Needs also drive behaviors as well. What percentage of Brazilian women would you say are very feminine, but also very mature? You gave a 20% from the American extract, but what percentage, based on your current anecdotal evidence, would you say are very mature and feminine? Go ahead, brother.
In my experience?
Yes, sir.
70%.
Okay, 7%.
70%. Now, here's the breakdown. Now, you know I got to make it intellectual, a little intellectual, right? I'm pseudo-intellectual. I'm not like culture clinician. He's on another level, but I'm trying to be like him. But foreign women are different, right? There's certain things that all American, like when you talk to American women, everybody's the same. You'll have a doctor that's just the same as the woman in the ghetto. They're like, you'll be like, damn, where's the difference, right? You might have a woman in church and is the same as a woman on a strip pole. Not all. That's not what I'm saying. That's the only time I'm qualified myself in culture clinician stream. Not all.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, you see that in the United States of America, you see women in the suburbs right now of all races trying to mimic women in the ghetto. Why? You don't understand it. They listen to the same music. They trying to do the same dance style. Everything is about twerk, twerk, twerk from the suburbs to the ghetto. I don't care where it is. But here it is, foreign women. Foreign women, there's a difference between a woman that's a prostitute in a foreign country that I've experienced in Brazil, right? A place like Brazil, versus the educated woman. They don't even speak the same.
Right.
The movements are the same. The vernacular is not the same. The family woman in Brazil is different from the educated woman. Right? The woman that wants the family to be further, she got that agenda. She learned it from her mother. The further the family versus the educated woman who's mimicking what she sees in the United States of America, might have those influences, but she's still different from the family woman. The feminist The feminist and the family woman don't agree. The feminist and the prostitute don't agree on so they got two totally different ways they operate in a place like Brazil. The religious woman, the spiritual woman, is totally different the way she operates.
Yes, sir. Right. Hey, man, listen. No, hold on. You ain't got to, because I'm gonna tell you why. What you're saying is true, and I heard somebody say it, and I think it's true to it. But they said, Brazil Yesh, that the foreign whore is better than the typical American woman and or American. and I think you explained it, because even though they are whores, they are still very feminine.
Why you think even we're new to this? Well, they can even say you black men are new to this. White men been doing this. Why do you think white men like doctors, lawyers, and bring prostitutes or anything back, and you'll never know there was a prostitute back in their country?
Right.
Because they operate differently. They've been doing it for eons.
Right.
There's very foreign women that you see that are now 60 and late 50s and late 40s and early late 60s. You see that all of these women that they brought back here are not, because there's a difference. Their femininity is still intact. You're like, damn. When you get to know their story when they get older, you're like, yeah, I was something back in my country, a lady of the night. I was a lady of the night in my country, but you would have never knew that.
You never know it.
There's a difference.
It's a difference, right. And that's what they don't understand, man. That feminine, I'm about to do a show called Masculine Box versus Feminine Box, because box alone is not enough. I'm going to kill it, man. I'm going to kill the game on that show at some point. But you know, many men are frustrated, Brazil Yesh, and I was in a movie with Al Grease called Frustrated Dream. Make sure you go check it out. But this is what men in America are frustrated about. Hold tight. Let me see if I can find it. Got to find the clip. But hold tight. I think you've seen it. I got to find the clip. Here we go.
Relationship deprivation.
When you date a woman and she may be a potential wife, it's a competition thing all the way. I can't take it no more.
They feel propped up because they feel more beholden to the government. And then their man comes second. That's why they figure that they're strong, independent, don't need no man, because they have the government.
Because the men are failing us, to be honest. Guys thinking about themselves, and they'll think about you after you react.
You don't hear anything about being good wives and all the other stuff. What you hear is you strong and you independent. You can do it on your own. You got black girl magic, black girl rock, but you ain't said nothing about black family.
My mother is like what they consider to be the strong black woman. I feel like I projected that onto the guys that I dated.
Ladies have no idea how stiff their competition really is. You have no clue how black men are viewed in the rest of the world. We are the #1 most sexually desired man on the face of this planet.
They would call Jesus Dusty if he was here living in America, because of the gross narcissism that a lot of our women have.
Power deprivation.
His money doesn't go to his child. His money goes to the system.
Personal accountability is one of those things that just goes across the board.
It's none of his business how it's being spent. Just pay the money and we'll take care of the rest.
I see why people walk away. I see why dads walk away, and it's the system. It's the system that's driving them away.
I let her know I ain't got no money for no Jordans. You call your dad or do whatever you gotta do. You can get 2 pair a year, that's it.
The non-custodial father has rights. So, mother just jumps up and say, you can't see your child, I can't go see the child.
When he said that he was going to take all of my custodial rights away, I was literally devastated.
The family court is one of the most dangerous courtroom, the most dangerous courtroom in the world.
This makes it near impossible. I can't understand how most guys can even begin to approach the situation.
When a woman gets pregnant, one of these basketball players, baseball players, wealthy guys, it's called a cash register. Because that's what that child is. It's a cash register.
There is no accountability. You write that check or you go to jail.
Affection, deprivation.
Women are noticing that their men are crossing the borders to find happiness, romance, or even just somebody to have a good time, hang out with. I come to Brazil, I sit down at the table, I order food. Young lady places a drink in front of me, opens my straw, puts it in my glass, and I'm chilling. Doesn't make her less of a woman, doesn't make me more of a man. It's just that we have different roles in life, and she knows hers, and I know mine.
Several years ago, I read an article from Essence magazine in regards to African-American men going to Brazil.
There's been a number of articles since the Essence story.
The article was not pleasant at all. It was quite negative.
The article is racially motivated, and to me, it's just another attack on the black man.
I feel in conversating with other guys who have adventured here, you should come here and experience what she has to offer Brazil.
People that write the article saying that they don't understand why we come to this place or any other place are biased because they've never experienced it.
Every black man should come down one time before you be put in this earth to see how this culture treats you. It's heaven.
You don't want to come down to Rio. I said, because if you do, you're going to come back thinking, how can I get rid of her? You know, and I just said, that's, I can't put it to you wrong. I said, if you married and you love your wife and you're satisfied, I said, don't come here.
You be looking for cheap sex with pretty girls. I think to a certain extent, you're almost like a predator.
They are nothing but lies, and they should not have been accepted by the black women. That article is to bridge the gap between you, and that's the reason that article came by.
It's not an issue until the black man starts doing it.
I agree.
More than 50% will suggest that's the average. More at 50 or more, that's about the average. You said that 74% of the women that you've encountered were feminine. Let's talk about that feminine rush. When you finally got a dose of that feminine rush, what did it do to your mind, body, and spirit? Because many men have what's called a catharsis when they leave Brazil, which means they begin to cry. But when you finally came in contact with raw femininity, I want you to tell the audience what it did to you mentally, physically, and also spiritually.
Mentally, man, it was like no other. You know, the whole psychological state changed. I had a new, I just had a renewed mind about dating. There was quote unquote hope, right? There was something to look forward to. There was something to now to be sought. The femininity levels that I saw in Brazil when I first went. For instance, let me give you a quick story, and I'm gonna go back to the mind, body, and so with that being said, I met Leia off Tinder. When Tinder first started, Tinder was popping. I met her. I told her to stay in the car in Portuguese. She said no. She got out that car, came in, gave me a hug and a big, wet, juicy kiss, like foreign women. And her family, my stomach was ruined, right? Through the airline food, right? Because that's my first time flying that distance. She went to go make sure my stomach and stopped everything. She talked to the people behind the register. No, we got to stop everything to make sure his stomach is good, right? Her wanting me to be fed, right? And she's doing this with no intent of financial resource, because you know how they run to that, because her and I were together for years after that.
Right.
I didn't give her a dime all of those years because she had her own career in Brazil. But just her feminine level, her comfort, her wanting to be look and look gorgeous for me, right? That was all part of that femininity, her caress, her rubbing my stomach at that very moment. You don't see that often. You don't see that often, especially now in this day. Now, do some women do it? Yes. But you don't see that often from the aspect of what I experienced from her. My spirit changed. I'm bouncier now. I don't have to prove nothing in the States. I don't have to buy a car that I don't want, right? I don't have to buy a car that I don't need, I rather. I don't have to buy food that I don't need. I don't have to take women out. So now my bank account grows. So that makes your spirit, when your bank account grows and you're not interested in dating in the United States of America after returning from that environment, bro, it does something to you. You got a new bounce in your step. You like, man, so the women that think they're gorgeous. Now, mind you, I got a term called universally pretty.
Right.
So that's universal prettiness. So I knew Leia was universal pretty. That means if I bring her to the United States of America, whether she's a 5 or 4 in that country, she'll be a 10 or more in America.
Right.
So I know So now being around a woman that's that beautiful, was interested in me without buying her affection, I was like, that gives you a new. So your spirit is different. You're like, a woman start acting funny or whatever, thinking you're trying to talk to her when you're not interested in dating in the United States of America anymore. You're gonna like, and then you're gonna keep going. You ain't got to prove nothing to her. Because you know what you lay down with when you go overseas. You know what you expect. You know the quality of woman that you have overseas. So that's not even. And then your soul, you're gonna get your soul back. You're gonna recover from all of the damage that you had if you do it in the right way. If you don't do it to prove something to anybody, if it's internal, you're gonna rejuvenate all your mind, body, and soul is all gonna come together in unison if you do it right.
Right. I totally agree, man. And people don't understand that, neither do men. Let me ask you a question. What year did you leave to go to Brazil, and how long have you been in Brazil?
Again, I left in 2015, 2016, somewhere. I got to get those years right. I never went back to my old passport because I threw that one away. But it was like 2015, either one of those. And I left for 30 days on my first go around. It was to the point I almost lost my job. And they was like, well, you got to come back or else you're going to. I was like, yo, y'all got to do what y'all need to do. I need to be around this woman a little bit longer. I need to be around this environment a little bit longer. I need to be around this music a little bit longer. I need to be around these people a little bit longer. Right. And I was willing to forego all of that just to have that experience. And then I was going back again. I went back and forth throughout the years for like 39 times. So now I'm concluding stuff in the States and I'm going back and forth still. Mingling with people, staying out 4 and 5 months and stuff like that. But I'm going to transition to I can't tell you where in Brazil because you know how they trying to attack us and stuff like that.
Right, understood. Yes, sir.
But when I show y'all this new part of Brazil that I'm going to be next month, y'all gonna be like, whoa, and I'm gonna bring that to the people. But I'm only gonna be able to present stuff in like a secret style per se, but when I solidify stuff like in this particular part, then I'll be able to bring it to the public. But right now, the way things are going, I want to like make sure I have a rider. And that's what I'm doing, testing the woman I'm dealing with, making sure she's a rider, making sure she'll be that guard dog. And I don't mean that in the disparaging way. We call them guard dogs because they'll guard your pocket, they'll guard your heart, and they'll guard you away from danger. So that's all I mean in that way. So we're not meaning it in a disparaging way.
No, I understand. Yes, sir.
That's what I'm trying to do. So when I transition and be able to show and make sure then I can show the environment, then I can show the people, then I can show the culture. So I'm just waiting on that.
The top 5 things that a man is going to get from a Brazilian woman. And then Brazil Yesh, we're going to dispel the myths associated with dating a woman from Brazil. The top 5. Go.
The top 5 things that a man can get?
The top 5 things that a man is going to get from a Brazilian woman. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
May the force be with you.
Okay, you saying SEX?
No, may the force be with you. No.
What do you mean?
Force me. Femininity.
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Organization, emotional organization. The O stands for organization, but emotional organization. Respect. Cooperation.
I like that.
And encouragement. A foreign woman is you. If you've never met a woman,
I like that. I like that
encouragement. May the force be with you. A feminine, organized, respectful, cooperative, and encouraging woman.
That's powerful. Talk about how those 5 have more or less calibrated you mentally and also spiritually.
Well, for me, I got a better relationship with my family. That's what I wanted to do. Traveling made me make that connection with my nieces, nephews, because I see what they do overseas. And I had one incident that happened, Kosher, and this right here changed my freaking life, right? I had a woman say, when the last time did you see your mother? Now, this is a foreign woman. She said, yeah, you've been out here often. And I said, well, my mother and them stays on the West Coast. I'm in the East Coast. She was like, hold on. You mean to tell me that you'll come all the way to South America, but you won't? And that right there changed my life years ago when I was younger. So I always took that aspect like, damn, let's respect it the way they do, right? We've lost that. We've always thought me, I. What do I, let me go see my family more. Even if it's to catch a plane and the plane ticket costs more than going to South America, so what? They brought that back. Another thing that happened to me, how important what you ingest, right? The foods, the water. A lot of these foreign places, they love placing water in their system. They love drinking water. They love being around water. They love, look, foreign women will bathe 7 times a day. You don't see that in the United States of America.
No, you don't. No, right.
So that's what I'm saying. So they brought that back to how important it is to take care of your inner self, right? They'll go to the doctor if they got a cough. That's how important it is to them.
Right.
So that's what also brought it. Another thing, how important it is to cherish a woman that's connected with you in that aspect. Like, don't just brush that aside. Like, take that seriously. A woman that got your back. My saying, a guard dog. But she like, you know how men do. Yo, that's my dog. But again, it's a different aspect of it when it comes to relationship. But what I'm saying is, when you have all of those things and you connect to them, and how important it is to have this. Yo, foreign women said, yo, I gotta have my sanity. In the United States of America, we do the same thing over and over and over and wonder why everybody crazy.
Right.
They're big on sanity. Like, no matter what I go through, I don't need to say I'm strong. Let me just operate in strength. Here in the United States of America, you gotta say you're strong. Everything is a display. It means that they're weak. But I've learned over there, you don't have to mention it. Just get it done. Just do it. Just be it. And that's what I learned.
You talked about the 5 elements called force. Out of those 5 elemental principles, which one resonates with you the most?
I'm just going to say, out of all of that, for me, and men could disagree with me, but you need cooperation.
Okay.
To me, cooperation is the quintessential mark of all of that. Because think about it. If she'll cooperate with you, right? Just cooperation. If she'll cooperate with you, then that means she respect your leadership. So everything else will follow. The respect will follow, the organization, emotional organization will follow, the encouragement will follow, the femininity will follow.
Right.
Because all you need is cooperation. Like, if I say, let's go here, let me lead you here, let me do this. Yeah, I learned a little something in my life over in the United States. She's willing to do that. Okay, well, maybe he knows something from a first world perspective that I don't know.
Right.
And I'm using first world and third world, and all that. We know there's those terms of war, but we use them so loosely now. We use everything so loosely.
Right.
But all I'm saying is cooperation. If you'll cooperate with you, she'll cooperate with your digestive symptoms. She'll cooperate with your vision. She'll cooperate with your needing her femininity and she needing your masculinity. Everything falls in line with that cooperation piece.
Right.
And
Right.
out of that, everything else grows.
Right. And that goes back.
Wait, let me just say this.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Let me. The plant needs the seed of the plant, whatever it is. The seed of the fruit needs to cooperate with the soil before
Yes,
it can
sir.
become anything.
Right. You're right. Well, what you're saying is true. I've always said that the man is the husband. He's the gardener. He's the caretaker. The woman is the garden. She's the nurturer of that husband. But she also produced fruit based on the seed of man. The children are the fruit. And so they all are play a role in the evolution of what's called society and family. But American culture is very toxic. How did Brazilian culture detoxify you, Brazilian Yesh? And before you answer that question, guys, get the likes up because the robot said the inflation is high. And the robot said you Negroes need to get them likes up and also donate to this channel. All right, guys, feed the algorithm and also donate to the channel. Now, Brazil Yesh, you sound like a very erudite, very educated man. It sounds like to me that you're academic. Did you go to college? And if so, if you don't mind sharing, what did you go to college for?
Yo, let me just tell you, I went to nothing.
Okay.
So you know what I
right.
did? I spoke to my grandfather. My grandfather said this. My grandfather used to have this European accent. It sounded like he's from the UK. My grandfather said, you need to read.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
Life,
read.
life will tell you everything you need to know. Right? And the first book I picked up. Now, again, that's light to everybody else, but is great to me. I picked up the basics. I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I actually evaluated that from like me trying to get money, not wanting to. It was me fighting against the system. And now I still could go to school. I could still get the degrees at this point. But it was me fighting against the system. Like, man, they teach all this stuff. And people was like, oh, it's just come. I was always told in high school, everything just comes so easy to you. Math came easy to me. Reading came easy to me. And all stuff that dealt with education came so easy to me, so I didn't find any interest in it.
Right, gotcha.
I was like, this is nothing to me. So after high school, I was like, this is nothing to me, and I just started reading. I just started pumping with knowledge, and it worked out. And now, this guy who's in his 70s told me, he said, listen, you know how you good at what you do if you don't have to prep for it. Right.
That's true. That's true.
And now I'm looking at, he was like, bro, every time I talk to you, you give me something new that you don't have to prep for. And so I knew I had something once I didn't have to prep for it. And I was like, well, all of that stuff. And I make more than all of the people that went to school. Like I make more of my resources come than more the people that went to school. And these very people come to me today. And I was like, yo, how did you do this? I went to college and I did all of this, but I don't make as much as you. How can I make more money? You see what I'm saying? So
well, you're what they call an autodidactic polymath. Shout out to Obsidian Mamua Ali. You are autodidactic polymath. Basically means you're self-taught, but you have a very broad range of knowledge. Now, my gift is the gift of elocution. You know, having a crisp mouthpiece just comes natural to me. You know, I always say my mouthpiece is crisper than the lettuce of California. I just got a crisp mouthpiece, but it's crisper than starch on some Levi jeans. But it just comes natural to me, man. You know, it's a gift. You know, we both got it. But shout out to my man, Big Boss, Real Talk, Bossolini. He said the Matrix is just that, phony and fake, and not real. Once you escape the Matrix prison plantation, you will see the world as it truly is. He's right. Shout out to Coach and Yesh, and all power to the chat. And that's a deal, right? Appreciate it, brother.
That's a deal,
Thank you.
Right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
All right, so we got 5 on that. But as we continue to explore this powerful movement, because I think it is a movement, there have been a lot of consternation and naysayers, Brazil Yesh. I call it the accuser of the brethren. And they all say, the passport bros are lames, they're tricks and all this goofy mess. They only want you for money and green cards. And we all know that all women want men for money and green cards. And most men are tricks in America because when you go on $200 dates, you're tricking. When you go on, OnlyFans, you're tricking. America is the biggest trick in the world. But they get mad at men for traveling when beautiful women come up to them, trying to, give them goods. But what do you say to all the naysayers and the critics that try to defame or castigate aspersions to men that travel? And how have you more or less silenced the noise or more or less cleared the static, to say the least?
Let me just tell you, my travels are not for discussion. That's how I quiet the noise. I'm on my grown man, and I can't say it, but I'm on my grown man stuff. And to be on your grown man stuff, your travels are not up for discussion. You don't have to explain to anybody that's I don't do that, right? And I'm not going to put out anything. I'm going to have decorum and discipline with my words and my actions, right? That's how you subvert all of that stuff that's happening. That's how you go against it. That's how you twist it. That's how you move around it, right? And for me, that's what it is. All it is talk, is hurt people. That's all it is. There's a bunch of hurt people, and the behavior shows, right? Now, I talked about earlier, the stress weather. A lot of these people are stressing. They trying to mimic what they see on there, or all of these stars, all of these people who don't have nothing in Atlanta and in places like California and places like New York, all of this. So in order for you to get around that, these people are hurt. These people didn't have any friends. These people are introverts who don't have any social skills. I understand that. But there's some people could work on it, but they just don't want to. They want to direct all of their pain, all of their anguish, all of their hurt in our direction. And they always say they don't care. They always absolve themselves of the conscious brain. The conscious brain is like this. Let me explain the conscious, right? The conscious brain is like this. It's like a magnet in a box. It's like this is the subconscious. It's a magnet in the box, and the conscious is the aware state, right? Well, what happens in the subconscious? The large magnet in a dark box has large, small, floating, small, circular magnets around it. They just float around all day. The only time you see these things move or go fast or get triggered is when a large magnet magnetizes, right? But what if that never happens? All they're going to do is float around. Now, on those little balls are hurt, it's anger, it's rage, it's happiness, it's goodness, it's fulfillment. Everything you can name is all of it. But think about this. If your subconscious, whatever comes from your subconscious, or your conscious comes to your subconscious, all of the magnets are filled with rage and anger. That's what's going to fill up the box.
I see your point. I see your point. Good point.
Is going to be floated, and the happiness is going to be bombarded by anger, rage, hurt, bitterness. He cheated on me and all of this type of stuff. Or she hurt me. So all of these people talking bad about the passport bros or the blue book gentleman movement. All they got is magnets in their subconscious. So whatever happens in their conscious is going to trigger that subconscious, that magnet. So let's just say if somebody cut you off in the road, or you see a video that you don't like with these passport bros, the subconscious is going to trigger. And the magnet, whatever's close to the magnet is going to make it there first.
That is so excellent. I like that.
These people.
That's
exactly what's happening to these people. And that's what we have.
Well, it's dark light. That's what it is. They have a lot of dark light, and that's what they are emitting. Gregory Scotland said that Brazilian women find overseas respecting men for being erudite and three-dimensional, whereas women in the United States, especially black ones, see intelligence being lame. What say you?
I had that. I had Leia. Leia got pissed at me. Leia was my first girlfriend in Brazil. That's the one that she said this. She said, "You live in the United States of America. Why don't you go to school? Why don't you?" I was like, what are you talking about? I said, do you know my brain power? She didn't equate my brain power because I don't have any schooling.
Mm.
And I was like, you don't understand. I was like, I'm just as intelligent or intellectual as these guys, but I just don't have the degree. I said, they're giving out diplomas at the back of grocery stores in the United States of America. she looked at me like I was crazy.
Right, it's true.
But when she heard me talk, when I would go around people, so people would come around and they'll speak to me. They said, how did you learn Portuguese? I said, I learned it in my apartment. You didn't have nobody teach you? No, I didn't. And how fast did you learn? I learned it in 11 months.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
You're speaking fluent.
I learned, yeah. And I said, I learned a whole language in 11 months in my apartment. And so I'm speaking to the Brazilians who speak no English. That baffled them. So now she like, oh man, this guy is intelligent. So I start showing it to her, and it was like, that made her even, you know what? That made her, let's just go, rain came down in her lower member, in her lower area.
Right.
So they respect intelligence, they respect it, and it's like nothing that you've ever seen. But they do, and I see it, and I've seen it with my incident with Leia.
Now, speak a little Portuguese for the people. I heard you speak. You are very fluent. But I don't know. Say Brazilian women are the most beautiful or the kindest in the world. Break it down for the people, man.
Brasileiro mulheres, a maioria do mundo. Fantástico. Esse pé até cabelo. Eu preciso brasileiro mulheres em minha vida. Meu coração está preto com mulheres brasileiras. Estou assistindo você canal agora. Eu preciso isso. Assistir o Kosher em Yesh agora. Eu adoro brasileiro mulheres. Eu adoro sua cultura. Cultura é o melhor do mundo. Eu conexão com isso. Brasileiro mulheres. Seu cabelo, seu cara, seu corpo. Este magnífico.
Man, that was dope, man. That was dope, dog. That was dope, man. Very magnifico. Very magnifico. Very magnifico. Hold up. Bueno. Bueno. Very muy bueno. Very. I love the soft consonants, the soft C's. You broke it down, man, and you did an excellent job, man. But you know, I created a term, Brazil Yesh, called simp surfers. And a simp surfer is a person similar to the silver surfer that goes about causing chaos. And it's sad, Brazil Yesh, because many of these men are this, but also many of these simp surfers, they're saying this.
Why are you destroying our planet?
I have no choice.
Yeah, these simp surfers are saying they try to destroy anything that's associated with masculinity, Brazil Yesh. They got a stronger aversion towards men and black men that are traveling. But the sad thing is white men been traveling for years. Them bad-built white women been traveling. Black women been getting their backs blown out for years. But all of a sudden, when black men travel, it's a reason. You talked about the centrifugal, we call it centrifugal force. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but it's centrifugal. I'm saying it wrong. But anyway,
okay.
In a centrifuge, it spins around. That's what you're talking about as relates to the subconscious. But I've always theorized that some of these men have a visceral hatred because perhaps their fathers left them and abandoned them as boys. And when they see passport bros leaving and moving on, subconsciously they see the passport bros through an ego defense mechanism called projection as being their father. But this is only a theory. What's your take on that?
That's more your field. I can only go on my anecdotal experience and my knowledge from what I read. But yeah, all of that is true. So when you have a separation of stuff as children up until adulthood, you have that you're missing, and it's all a part of your formation and your stages of growth. So if you don't have that in your stages of growth, you're gonna miss that out. You're gonna miss out on it. You're gonna miss out on the emotion control. You're gonna miss out on the deduction stage where you're able to pick up stuff and be able to deduce and remove your feelings from it and know when to put your feelings into it, right? That shapes your behavior, that shapes all of these things. So when you have that coming up and it's missing, you again, it's going to have you learn that from other places, right? Because again, when you take something from us, as far as men or even women, but when you take stuff from us as men and women per se, but when you take stuff as men, you got to cover that with something else. For instance, I can't take dating from you and not replace it with another form of dating or a dating period, right? I can't take happiness from you and just leave you without happiness or whatever like that. You're going to seek it, or you're going to find it in different ways to make you happy, or what you perceive as happiness, what you perceive as adulthood. So whatever you see on camera, whatever you see on the internet, whatever you see in person, that's what all you're going to become is a carbon copy of whatever you see, because you didn't get it it didn't shape you from childhood or into adulthood. So that's what we see a lot of. We see a lot of this. So you're missing the male standard. You're missing the female standard. Human adult female standard, human adult male standard. You're missing all those things because they didn't have it. So what they're going to do is whatever's a replica of it, that's what they're going to mimic.
Right. Almost like Arrested Development, but also similar to what you talked about. The mother line is teaching the daughter to get the host that she needs to survive. Some people are still in a depraved mindset. Some are in a very regressive stage of their development, which in essence is hurting them. When was the last time you experienced a very feminine woman when you were in America? When was the last time you experienced a very feminine woman when you were in America?
Ooh. Oh, man. Man, that was when I was like, man, and I thought back to all of these years. I had time to think about that for years. Man, that literally happened with a single mother. And that was when I was about 22 years old, man. So when I was 22 years old, I felt like, as far as me dating, and a woman interested in me that was very feminine. She was 22, I was 21 at the time. So again, I was still maintaining myself in Atlanta, Georgia. I transitioned from Jersey to Atlanta, Georgia, and I was just but that's the last time. And I'm talking about everything what we speak about. So you talk about almost 20 years, man. Everything that we speak about, she had. Was I able to recognize it at the time? No. Did she mess up the situation? And again, people saying, yo, that's wrong for you to say. No, it's not wrong for me to say. I'm 21 years old. She's 22. Did she mess up the situation because she had a child and didn't think about, well, maybe she was feminine to him and he took advantage? I don't know. Right. That's not my problem. Right. I didn't have children at that time. I still don't have children by women in the United States of America, and I'm glad I don't. But with that being said, she was the last feminine woman. Everything where we said the force is with you, man, she had everything about the force. And that's the last woman when I was 22 that had that femininity, that connection, that's something that you'll really jump out the bed in the morning for, because she'll have breakfast made for you. She had that at 21, but I wasn't ready. I was just making a transition from Jersey to Atlanta. So who knows what has become of her as of this point, but I know I wasn't ready for that.
How has the force aspect of femininity improved your physical health? Because I'm a firm believer that health plays a major role on the testosterone levels of a man. GMOs play a major role too. They said the men in the West, the testosterone levels are lower than any time in human history. But how is femininity played a role on your health, and what aspect of force actually calibrated that as well?
Force, the whole overall aspect of what I found overseas. Because think about it. There's a study that came out, right? And again, I quiet the noise. And you all might think, oh, well, they was talking about this type of noise. No, they was talking about the spiritual noise as well as the physical noise, but they used the physical noise in this study to make their point. For instance, they did a study in the 70s, right? They took about a group of white men, right, who are now like 70, 80 years old. They put them, they studied their lives. There was an article in the New York Post, and they studied their lives. They went around, and up until now, up until modern day, like 2019, I think, or 2017 was when they did a follow-up. And they started in the 70s, and they said, well, let's follow these boys, right? And the men that stayed on higher floors had better receptivity. They had better sleep. They had, in New York City, and where I'm from Jersey. New York is 5 minutes away over the water, right? The small little Hudson near the Statue of Liberty. So they found that the boys that were on the higher floors, because again, their parents probably could afford it more or whatever like that, because the penthouses are a little bit higher. Those boys fared out well. Those boys had quiet. The receptivity on grasping knowledge was easier. They had better sleep. They had a better connection, a better feeling, better mood, better behavior, right? They found that the boys on the lower tier, right, who heard the ambulance, the sirens, glass breaking, arguing, and all of that in the city, they had intelligent or receptive problems, which means if you say glass and gas, right? Sometimes in their mind they're confused those, because they had less sleep, they didn't have resolve, their behavior was off, their mood was off, and everything, right? And they studied us. All of those guys that lived on the lower floors, those guys have passed away. But all of the men who were able to have families that put them on the higher floors and a different environment, right? In that part of the city, those men had the longevity. Those men had longer lives, and they put years on their lives. Those men traveled more. Those men better at business and everything else. And so, long story short, what you put yourself around is the thing. Now, if I'm around a combative woman, if I'm around a woman that's clashing, if I'm around a woman that's always wants to be handled like they're a piece of furniture or a suitcase, right? If I'm around all of that, right, that plays to my mood, that plays to my behavior, that plays to my receptivity, that plays to my knowledge of understanding her as a woman versus the woman who is more feminine, right? So that plays into all of that. So I'm going to seek that. If I see a man that has a different resolve, I'm going to seek that. The force, feminine, organized, respectful, cooperative, and encouraging. If I'm able to see men who come around me, or men that I have a different resolve, and I see, like, as men, we come around each other, we hear stories, and I say, like, damn, this dude seems happier. Damn, this dude seems like he's got his finances together. Damn, this dude seems like he's more like, just has that pizzazz. If I see that versus my situation, I'm going to want to be around that. And and seeing that put me in a position where I am today, right? Then your environment, who you're around, what you're around, what you is going to make up what you are as a man, and it's going to put years on your life. They say every time you get on a computer and you even just pay for your next trip, they said you put years on your life. You put 2 to 3 years on your life, because of the excitement, the norepinephrine levels, and it subsides the cortisol. So that's what I've learned.
Excellent. I love that, man. I love that. You know, I'm gonna look at some. I'm sure you know Vibing with Freddie. You know that brother, right?
No.
You don't know him. Well, let's dispel the myth about green cars. I think I'm gonna pull up this clip real quick. We're gonna break it down, maybe about a minute or two.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me what you think about this, because there's a presumption and an assumption that they only want you for a green card. And we know it's a lie and a myth, but this is his anecdotal response. And shout out to Vibing with Freddie. I saw him on my brother Guapo's channel. He used to chop it over Austin Holloman when he was in Brazil. But let's listen to this for a little bit, man. Fair use.
YouTube. I don't condone any drinking. And if you do drink responsibly. All right. All right. Let me show you guys the fit of the day. Something light, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Got a nice little shirt off Shein. $5. Nothing too major. All right. Guys, don't be afraid to shop on Shein. All right. Do not be afraid. And don't let nobody try to make you feel bad for shopping on Shein. When you live overseas, you're traveling anyway, right? You're traveling a lot, so you don't need a whole bunch of clothes anyway. But if you're gonna travel with some nice little, if you're going to a beach area, but this is all-purpose shirt.
Speed up a little bit. All right.
When you stay at a Vrbo, the host doesn't stay with you. Because without privacy in your vacation...
Americans who have never traveled, or you might have traveled to a couple places. Why do you feel that, say, Brazilian women or women of other countries, women of other cultures want to be with Americans solely for the simple fact of a green card? Why do you guys run with this narrative that every woman in other countries dreams and desires to live in America? Or they just setting dudes up to get to the United States and then get back there to the United States and then come back to her country after a couple times and divorce the guy. Now she has permanent residency in the United States. Does that happen? Yes, but that is not. Come on. Let's grab us and type it in here real quick. Pergunta para... Eu tenho uma pergunta para vocês, para meu YouTube canal. Você prefere morar aqui em Brasil ou você prefere green card?
Morar aqui no Brasil.
So we didn't touch down at the new beach. All right, let's get it. Oi meninas, eu tenho uma pergunta para vocês para meu YouTube canal. Pode?
Oi?
Eu tenho uma pergunta para meu YouTube canal.
Ele tem uma pergunta para mim.
Pronto? Rapidinho. Você prefere morar em Brasil ou você quer green card?
Eu prefiro morar no Brasil.
Vem, não posso ouvir. Fala.
Eu o quê?
Fala de novo.
Pergunta de novo.
Você prefere morar em Brasil ou você quer green card?
Eu prefiro no Brasil.
Tá. Oi meninas, eu tenho uma pergunta para vocês para meu YouTube canal. YouTube, você prefere morar em Brasil ou você quer green card?
Eu prefiro morar no Brasil, claro.
É. Oi. Eu tenho uma pergunta para vocês para meu YouTube. Green card, cartão verde.
Eu prefiro morar no Brasil.
Você prefere morar em Brasil ou você quer verde cartão?
O quê? Cartão?
Green card.
Não, eu prefiro morar no Brasil.
Pronto.
All right. So that was a small randomized sample, Brazil Yesh. What was your take on that, man? Because a lot of the fluff is that they only want you for green cards. They only want to come back to America. They want green cards. But you saw from that small randomized sample that they love their country. They love Brazil. They're not trying to come back to America. What's your take on this?
Yeah, again, preferia. Yeah, I wish you would pronounce it, but you know I'm big on Portuguese, but preferia. Like, você preferia morar nos Estados Unidos ou em Brasil? Este é melhor para você. So that's like something that you would say. So he's like, I guess he mixing Spanish with Portuguese. But other than that, I did a video with a chick. She had my sweater on just to show her, and she said she just want to go to Disney, and she just want to go to Orlando, Disney, and she want to go to San Francisco, and she want to come back. She said Brazil is the best place in the world. So for me, I think that all of the foreign women that I've met feel like that, except one. And so let's say one. So we'll say 90 something percent. It was only one, and that was Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo, I did a video with her, and she said logical. Logical mean of course. You get what I'm saying? See, in Brazil, they say logical. Logical mean of course. It means like that's not even a question. Like, why would I? She said, hell yeah, she'd come to the United States because of the position she was in as far as that. Out of the thousands of women that I've met in Brazil, I only met one that wanted to come here to live. One out of thousands.
Thousands. Wow.
So,
that's a big
yeah,
sample.
So, yeah, exactly. So this is crazy. Throughout the years, you got to think, I've been doing YouTube and asking questions and being around Brazilians for almost 10 years. So I got a large sample of experience when it comes to Brazil and interacting, even the ones that stay in the United States of America. Bro, I've talked to them. You even had people, so I understand, and they just want to make money. They want to collect it. And guess what they're doing? They said after 20 years, they're going back with all their money.
Right.
So this is exactly what they're doing. They don't like America. They only like America for the finances, the resources, the money. And they want to go back. They don't like the culture. They don't like that you never see your family. They don't like that you work so much. They don't like that you don't have a relaxed personality and everybody's not cool to be around, and everybody seems to be all so uptight and trying to get over on each other. They don't like that. That's what they see America as. I tell them otherwise, because I still love America. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Yes, sir.
America,
That's your country.
You ain't gonna just crap on the United States of America and think you're gonna get away with it.
Right.
So I'm gonna correct you. I'm gonna say, yeah, but it's not all what you seem. You got to make time. But they have their own feelings. Like I have my feelings about that country. But I'm not gonna let them crap on America. I'm just not gonna let it happen. But they have their feelings. But they just want to make the money and go back. They feel like they have a better connection. They feel like it's more relaxing. They feel like they have better scenery. They feel like they got better beaches. They feel like they got better people. They feel like the energy is better. But they just want to make the money and go back. When America is depleted as far as resources, they'll find another place to go to. That's just what's going to happen. But right now, America has the resources. But if you say 20 years from now, some other country has taken over, then they're going to go to that country and America is going to be obsolete.
Yeah, man. And the fact they believe in family and culture, man, that's what's so appealing. Family is a lost art in America. Shout out to my man Andrew Baker for the $20 super chat. He says, salute the coach and Yesh. Traveling is therapeutic and expands your mind into another realm. He said, I ignore the haters and continue to live my life on your own terms. And that's a deal, right?
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
1,000%.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
That there are 7 steps a man must go through in order to become optimized. And once he goes to those 7 steps, he becomes kosher, which means complete in Hebrew. And so traveling is one of those aspects to being a kosher man. He becomes complete. He more or less rule outs or more or less destroys the GMOs, the negative GMOs in his head. He gets calibrated and he gets reassured because he has become kosher, to say the least. When you think about you're I believe somebody said you about 6'7", right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm about 6'5", 6'6", well, 6'6" with shoes on. You're not around the same height. But you got all, not easy to pump the stats, man. Big 6'6" All-American from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Brazil Yesh. They always got to add an inch with the shoes on. So I said with shoes on. But some man would argue, Brazil, you've been in Brazil for a while. I'm sure we've seen the receipts. You've been with beautiful women. Have you met a woman that you felt like was worthy of being your wife yet, or not quite yet?
Wife? Can I be very frank with you, and don't hold this against me, your audience? The answer is yes.
Okay, I respect that.
5 of them.
Oh, you found 5? Okay, cool. Respect.
Now, mind you, they're not in agreement with and I tell them this before when we meet. Living overseas, even in America, man, I make enough to sustain myself and others. I've been doing it for years. I don't have any children, but I give often to certain causes and stuff like that. loads of money. People see me do it. They see me go to one of the spots in Brazil and give over $3,000 to a school out of my own pocket.
In your own pocket, right?
And people know this is, and I got it on camera just in case people say he didn't do that. Got it on camera. You know, I always like to keep receipts.
Right.
So that's just with me. And fellas, I got to give again to the school with fellas. They gave their little donations and stuff like that. I gave my little donations. We put it together and made it a big donation. So that's the stuff I do. So I got enough to sustain myself and others. Now, what I am going to say is, at this point, I had one that was close, but you know what always takes it away, Kosher? You know what always takes it away?
Yes, sir.
The aspect that they have children before they got to me. And some foreign women have that. And I'm looking for one that don't have any children.
Right. I respect that.
Yeah, that don't have any children and don't bring that toward me and all of the other stuff. And so when I find that particular per se, I always let them know I'm looking for this to this point, and I'm honest with them.
You're honest with them, right?
And I'll be with them for years. It ain't like I just use them and just bounce, or they use me and they bounce. No, we be each other for years. We enjoy each other's company, and they choose it. I choose it. We all adults, so they can't say nobody's using somebody. Other people's using somebody. But I've had several women. But when I find that one that has no children, has that family structure, and all what the others have, but no children, then I can. Not saying all of them had children. Not saying that all of them didn't have children. All I'm saying is, if they don't, they can't be looking for it right away. You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that. I agree with you. Right.
Some of them didn't have children, but they wanted children right away, and I'm like, yo, I'm not ready for that. Let's wait for all of that. But they're not ready to wait. And then as soon as they stop talking to me, you know what happens? They get with the Brazilian, they get with the Colombian, they get with the African, they get with the one that they want, and they go from there. And they go from there. And I say, more power to you. We still friends. Man, how's the baby? How's the relationship? Hey, it's good, perfect. And I might talk to them once a year. But they doing very well in their new relationships.
Have any of them ever tried to get back with you, even in being in relationships?
Oh yeah. I had one that was she moved to Europe and she wanted to come back just to get with me, and I was her whole focus. But I was like, nah, I can't do that. I was like, yeah, I didn't step those boundaries. I have to kill. Think about this. For every one man in Brazil is like, now let's now the numbers are up and down. But for every one American man that goes to a place like Brazil or Colombia or Thailand, it might be different. But I'm talking about Brazil. It's like it's literally like 500 women to every one man that goes there. So if she doesn't want to talk to me, we don't make that connection. Maybe I'll make the connection on it, but we have that option, and we don't corrupt the women. We don't treat them we don't treat them bad. Everything is on an equal playing field. That's what the internet gets wrong. Every day they act like these women are stupid. They call them dirty foot. They call them like these women don't have the ability to make these decisions like us. They think we have this superhuman USA power over foreign women. That's like the craziest thing to me. They need to call us American superheroes. American passport bros are the new superheroes. Because the way they paint us, like we got just this much ultimate mental power over these women and mental control, as if these women don't make their own decisions, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is crazy. But it's cognitive dissonance at its best, and many of them are deaf Brazil Yesh. And deaf is an acronym that I created, and it stands for this succinctly. They deny the evidence when you present it to them. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They will argue with you, do ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they have a condition called cognitive dissonance. And that cognitive dissonance means they cannot hear what you're saying because there's a loud ringing cacophony going on inside their head that looks like this. It's clear cognitive dissonance. Now listen, Brazil is definitely the place for a single black man that's looking for a traditional wife and want to travel. And I got a spot that you know about, and I'm going to run a little quick video. But before I do that, Dr. Glasser talked about power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. Power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. I want you to let that marinate inside your psyche. But while it's marinating, let me play this little clip about this special place for black men to go, because Brazilians have the highest level of black people from the diaspora than America. Many don't understand that, but Brazil is very black, because I was in Brazil twice last year. I was there the year before last or last year when I was in the movie Frustrated 3. So here we go.
Stay tuned.
Illusions become delusions when the evidence is presented and those that are involved with the evidence fail to adhere to or listen to the evidence that is presented before them. It appears that in this current time that many modern men are looking for love outside of Western America. And because of that, many black men are returning back to their ethnic roots as they are beginning to explore areas outside of America. And those areas outside of America often consist of countries like Brazil. Salvador Bahia is a place in Brazil that has one of the largest African populations that was more or less a byproduct of the transatlantic slave trade. And in Brazil, many men are finding that these women are more suitable for marriage, that they're more wife-ready, and that they're a lot more cooperative because they have been conditioned and socialized to respect and respond to the authenticity and the authority of a masculine man. Men by nature are very simple creatures. But when men don't get the needs and the love and the respect that they want, 2 or 3 things actually happen. One of those things that happen is that they actually implode within. They become less productive, and they lack the power or the intestinal fortitude to become better versions of themselves. Modern men are actually caught up in a quagmire when they have been conditioned to defer their power instead of demanding power. And because modern men have been conditioned to defer power, many men actually self-sabotage themselves in relationships because they don't demand anything. In this expose and in this show, we're going to explore the dynamics of Brazilians, and we're going to explore how Brazilians are actually black people, as the title of the show is Your Mama is Black and So Are Brazilians, because many times in relationships and many times when men try to defend their position, many times modern women will say of the African American ilk that your mama is black is a form of shaming language. And that shaming language often is a byproduct of a condition that I created called deaf, meaning they deny the evidence, they become enraged when you present them with the evidence, they argue through ad hominem attacks when you present them with the evidence, and when you become more persistent in your pronunciations, they fight or flee. And because of that, many men are saying that are single, millennials and zennials, that they don't want to be in relationships anymore. And because of that, many men are going back to their roots through companies like African Ancestry and African DNA to get a schematic framework of where their African past is from. And from that African past, many are trying to use the evidence to link them with women of Brazilian, Colombian, and also Venezuelan cultures to get Afro women or women of Afro-Colombian, Brazilian, and Afro-Latin descent to become traditional wives. With the evidence presented, many men are under the guise and understand that women in general are the same everywhere you go. But because of the information that they have been given, many men are saying that I would rather take my chance with women from foreign countries than to deal with some of the toxic behaviors in America. I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy and explore the evidence as we talk about your mama is black and so are Brazilians, because Brazilians are of the African extract, and Brazilians are actually suitable women for men of African ancestry.
All right, Brazil Yesh, real quick. Why is the part of Brazil that you're in? I don't want you to tell me people where you're at, but I'm going to assume that you're probably nearby here. You don't have to tell me the town. But why is that part of Brazil so good for American men? Wherever you're at, I don't know where you're at, but wherever you're at, whether it's a black part or wherever, why is that so important for a black expat traveling to Brazil?
You get the sense of environment, culture, people, and you really ingratiate yourself in that. You see what I'm saying? So you'll understand the behaviors in a different part, and it's still not a result of the environment that they're in. So that's all I'm going to say, and it will really really help you because it'll be in its most natural state. Natural state. You connected more so than the city parts of Brazil to the particular area that I'm speaking of.
Okay,
so, but that's it. You'll be more connected to the earth.
Okay. When it comes out to black men in general, how do they treat black men? How have they treated this? Well, Brazilians are black, but the American black, how do they treat the American black?
Kosher, man. This is easy, man.
I know the answer, but for the audience, man, I know because I've been there twice. But go ahead.
Is now you discussed something. I don't know if you're gonna get on that. You asked me something before we went. You said power. That's power in for black men.
Power,
Period.
right? Power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. So starting with power. Go ahead.
Exactly. So it's power, belonging, freedom, and all of that encompasses it. But power is the most important because power is going to help save your life. You take control back over your life. So that right there is the quintessential point that we need to start from. Power, because power is relating to or utilizing strength. And you have the strength of choice again, right? You have the strength in becoming opulent and wealthy and rich and building up your bank account and making connections with other men. Opulence. You have the power to make connections and network. How can you make money if you can't network? Building friendships and becoming more relaxed. So with all of what you said, it's power. Power is the most important out of all of that. And it pulls and it goes into those other aspects, but power is the most, because again, power is utility, but people don't look at it as that. But that increased black men's lives exponentially.
Right.
If they follow that, if they just get out their box, just you being in a different environment that has the force, you being in a different environment that has different food, you being in a different environment that has a language, that has a culture, what we call culture, that has a connection with family. The familiar structure what drives culture. I don't care what anybody say. The familial structure,
I agree.
the family structure is what drives culture. So if you don't have that, you don't have anything.
No, I agree with you 1,000%. Fun. It appears that black men in America are deprived of fun to the point it's sending them to an early grave. Consistent with Dr. William Glasser, how weren't you having fun when you were in America, and how are you having fun now since you've been living as an expat in Brazil?
Fun?
Yes, sir.
You talk about FUN.
FUN, yes, sir.
Okay, fun. Let me tell you how that helps. In one of my books, I wrote the 333 plan, right? And I'll get into that. And I also wrote, which is even more fun, the 777 plan. The 777 plan is 7 things to do when you go to the country, right? I don't care if you're visiting or I don't care if you're living. You need to have that per month, per week. If you're living, you need to have that when you're visiting. 7 things to do. I don't care if it's running in the park. I don't care if it's exercising. I don't care if it's bungee jumping. I don't care if it's jet skiing. I don't care if it's yacht. I don't care if it's rock climbing. I don't care if it's island seeking. I don't care if it's what men need, that connection with women. right? You need to have 7 things to do. 7. Another thing is you need to have 7 women to look forward to. 7 women. And again, one woman could be your spiritual woman, and you don't need to engage with her intimately. You don't. We're not talking about none of that.
Right.
We're talking about just 7 women, right? 7. One is your spiritual woman. One is your motivational, and again, this is push and pull. You're giving her something, she's giving you something, and it's non-sexual, right? Number 5, you need to have a woman that can show you her country, right? What was that? So number 4, you need to have a woman that is going to be into what you're into. You might be into the gym, you might be into sports. Have that woman that's there for that you're into. Number 3, you need to have one that's very cautious, one that's very aware of her environment and telling you to be cautious in her country. Number 2, you got 2 left. 2. So 2 left is somebody that can drive you to go and do stuff. She might not want to do it with you. She might got to work, but she'll encourage you. Yo, you need to get out there and go.
Right.
And then another one, you need a health lady. A health lady, she don't want to work out. She don't want to do none of that, but she wants you to eat right. She wants to show you different things that's going to affect your inner being. She wants something that's going to increase your longevity on earth.
Right.
You need that. So you need that. And then you can have all 7 in one woman and then be with her intimately.
Yes, sir. Right. That's right.
So that's what you need. It could be that one woman that has all 7 features. But in the last 7, which is very important, you need 7 fulfillments of pleasure. So if you want me to, I can break all of those down too.
Okay, but go ahead and break them down. Go ahead, dog. Because that's part of the fun. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. 7 fulfillments of pleasure. Again, you already heard me talking about the force. That's a fulfillment of pleasure. That force, right? That's already. Now, you also need to get your rocks off. Well, there's 7 things you need to do. There's part of it. Either you got a girlfriend there, or now kosher clinician. I know you're not going to agree with me. I know we're not going to promote this, but some dudes go to the gentleman's club. Some dudes got a girlfriend. Some dudes got a wife.
Right.
But you need that intimate setting. It's just going to happen. You need to embrace it from her. Right. A hug, a kiss. You need that intimate, her rubbing on you and stuff like that. Right. You need that bond. I don't care what you say. You need a woman that you look at as attractive and sexy. You need that. That's a fulfillment. That's a pleasure for a lot of you guys.
Right.
Most of you guys, if your junk don't get up, you just want to be around her. It's just the way it is.
Right.
Number 3, you need that spiritual woman. You need that woman that can say, well, the wind means this to me, and the wind blows this, or when it rains, it does this to me, or when a certain wave come by on the water, it does this to me. You need that. That's a pleasure to you. You're like, damn, the way she describing that water. Oh, I just love the way she describes the water.
Right.
I don't need to do anything with her. I just need to look at the way she describes. You also need a attractive woman that you're attracted to look at. From her makeup to her face to her hair. Me, I love Brazilian women with the long hair flowing down to the back, jet black. I love them with the little light makeup on, not heavy. I love them with the that's a fulfillment to me. That's a pleasure to me.
Right.
That's a pleasure. I need them. I need a woman. You might need a woman with the last 2 to feed you. I need a woman to feed me. Yo, lady, come on, go make me a plate, man. Please go make me a plate and then give it to me. I had a woman feed me in front of everybody in Brazil, in Itaguaí. Let me tell you a story.
Right, go ahead, brother.
She's with 10 other people in the room. One was a Brazilian guy, jiu-jitsu. He was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. So I'm sitting there. She put pork on my plate. Everybody know about Yesh. I don't eat pork.
Right.
It must have slipped her mind. Guess what she did? She picked every piece of pork off that plate with a fork. And it took her 30 minutes to do it.
Oh, wow.
And I said, you know, I still can't eat that because the pork touched whatever you. She was like, seriously? So she, like, oh, okay. I stopped her because I wasn't really paying attention to what she was doing. Stopped her. I said, oh, I didn't know. Obrigado. Eu entendi isso. So she was like, I said, I was like, faz dinheiro. Faz de novo. And she went over there. She made a different plate. And só você voltar aqui. Pra que em cozinha? Eu não preciso isso. Volta aqui, minha amor. And she was like, okay. She came over there with just rice and whatever beans she had on there. And I ate it like it was, like I've never, I said, oh, delicioso. Pra isso, meu estômago. And she was like, oh, mi barriga é cheio. That means my stomach is full, right? My belly's full. So she was like, oh, you liked it? And you ain't had no meat? And I was like, no. I was like, I got a few pieces on here. Feed it to me. She did it in front of everybody. She's the leader of the group. They look at her as like the leader. Wherever she go, they follow and stuff like that. She's the leader out there. I said, feed me. And I sat back like this. She gave me the meal. I ate it. I said, este, pouquinho. And I said, there's a little more on the plate. Mais uma. And she gave me a little more. That's what I said, a little more. And so she gave me the last bit on the plate, and everybody didn't budge in the room.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, Aretha Franklin made a song back in the day, Brazil Yesh, and she said, you make me feel like a natural woman. Well, being in Brazil will make you feel like a natural man. Your testosterone levels will go up. Your sperm count will go up because I used to joke with some of the young cats, you know, for the single man, and this is what the single man said. Brazil is a place where your money go further, and so will your nuts. So. And the logic behind it is because you're healthy. You get non-GMO foods. You're drinking plenty of water, and you're around feminine women that compliment you. And to a single man that don't have a wife, that's perfect for a single man that don't have a wife. I'm a firm believer that testosterone levels are low in America because of the GMOs and being around toxic women, and that's why the fertility rate is so low, in my opinion. Because they said that the men's testosterone levels, like our grandfathers, was a lot higher than men now. Environmental toxins as well. But you guys eat good, healthy food from the earth. When I was in Brazil, I bought some cow's milk. It was non-GMO, and it was straight from the cow. So they didn't pasteurize. Now, it was good and creamy, but it messed my stomach up. It tore my stomach up because, you know, it's pure. It's kosher milk. And so I wasn't used to it. But, you know, you've been in Brazil for a while. And then the next element is freedom. What kind of freedom weren't you getting in America, and how have you been free since you've been in Brazil? So first question, I wasn't free in America because of what, but I'm free in Brazil now because of what? Go ahead.
I wasn't free in America because, again, the society controls and dictates how you are. Earlier I said they rather be part of ethical cancer than being the one to destroy it, right? And you know, I said that in the beginning of the show, and it's just like that now. Again, it's still like that now. So I was in America. I wasn't free because of those holds, like the environment. The environment dictates how you are. Like if you're in an environment that's impoverished, you're gonna have that. If you are in an environment where a lot of people talking like, yo, we could do this, we can move forward, then that's what's going to happen. If you're not in that particular environment, then you're going to lose all of those aspects. So that's why I felt that there's no freedom. And then if you don't do stuff let me just be honest, we're in a diverse country. So I'm like, well, I understand blackness. I understand what happened. What happened to us for the last hundreds of years, thousands of years. You could even say from all over the place, all of the knowledge that we have.
Right.
Whether you call yourself Hebrew, whether you call yourself Arabic, Muslim, or anything like that, Sheik. I don't care what you call yourself. Somebody has a history of stuff that happened to them. And for me, in this aspect, I thought I wasn't free because you're not able to be what the country is claimed to be because there's so much that happened, and you got to stick around your people, or you got to stick around their people, or the white people got to stick to the white people, or else you a traitor. You call the black people got to stick to the black people.
Right.
But in Brazil, I'm gonna just be honest. Now, as far as finances and economics, they still suppressing darker skin Brazilians.
Right.
Let's not. That's not what I'm saying. Is what I'm saying is, even the dark Brazilians to the light Brazilians call themselves all Brazilian.
Right.
So there's a freedom in that. There's a freedom in that, and there's a freedom in now. The second half of your question, how about, because bro, you get to let your hair down. You don't have to be concerned about the Nikes, the Jordans. Everybody wear chicletas. Those are damn sandals.
Right, sandals, right.
They wear shorts.
Right, they wear shorts.
Shirts that have no name on them.
Right, that's what Grease was talking about. You don't have to get jigged. You're right.
Yeah, you don't have to do none of that. So there's like a freedom in it. You don't have to spin and buy people's affection or prove that you have this particular resources or that particular resource. Be part of a network that people just to say you're somebody, my nose in the air. You don't have to do none of that. Because when you're at the table with rich as well as poor, guess what everybody does? Everybody say, well, was your portion of the bill? Here's your portion of the bill. We're going to all put it together and pay the tab.
Right.
They live from portions.
Right.
And it's a freedom of family. If you're sick, people think, yo, man, you're going to die alone. Well, if you're overseas and you build that family structure and you build that connection with the locals, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be part of their family.
Part of their family.
Their daughters, their nieces or anything like that. You don't need to do none of that.
Right. Very friendly people, man. When I was down there.
They're going to take care of you.
Right.
If you say my stomach, if you say I got a virus, or you know what's going to happen? The locals going to start bringing you stuff. They're going to try to nurse you back to health as if you was part of it. So all that die alone and you guys, how long this is going to last.
Right.
And then now, that's the freedom. There's a mental freedom in all of that. There's a psychological freedom in all of that. There's a reassurance. There's a testosterone that's in all of that. So you feel rejuvenated.
You feel rejuvenated,
Your body
right.
start healing itself.
Yes, sir, right. You know what's funny? You say that. When I was on in Copacabana, man, I think I lost like 5 pounds, man. This walk, I think I probably walked like that. No, I'm dead serious, man. Because I got lost because I lost my phone when I was down there. And I was with Al Grease and his crew. And I lost my phone, but I think I left. I felt like I lost about 5 or 10 pounds, and I felt more stronger. I felt energized. I felt like a young man again, man. For that short term that I was incubated under that Brazilian sun, the brisk from the beach, just being around friendly people. The food was clean. I felt energized, man. Even though I'm 51, I felt like I was in my 30s again, man. And because it's not toxic, and we know that Brazil has its own problem. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you're talking about freedom. Now, let's go back to belonging. Dr. Glass said that belonging played a role. So what did you not have in America as it relates to belonging? I think it's tied to family. But how do you feel? How do you feel like you belong since you've been in Brazil? Go ahead.
No, it's not about belonging.
Okay.
It's not about feeling like I was belonging to a family. It feels like you belong to a nation.
To a nation. Good job. Break that down for the people.
Yeah. Again, nationality is based on, they always say nationality is based on what you represent, culture and all of that stuff, where you were born and all of that stuff. But there's a thing called transnationalism, where you can bring your own culture to these particular places, but you don't need that. So I just wish I could take and reshape the definition of transnationalism. I'm going to go into your country, right? I'm not going to bring none of my stuff with it. I'm just going to embrace all of your stuff. That's what I wish we can change some parts of that definition of transnationalism to. I'm going to embrace all of your stuff. I'm not going to wait till things get hard and say, well, I'm going to go back to my culture because yours is obviously. No. You feel like you belong to that nation. You feel like you belong to the music. You feel like you belong to the art. You feel like you belong to the education of their people. You feel like you belong to the foods that you ingest. You feel like you belong to the land, the territory, and they make you feel that way. They make you feel that way. And so it absolves you to feel like you need to belong. There's no feeling of that. You just belong. So that's the dope part about it, how the nation agrees with you and say, yeah, you part of us. And people say, yo, they don't do that to you guys. Yo, me and J. Clyde and Grego, it was 3 of my friends who you see. They got YouTube channels also, right? We went to a part of Brazil, right, in Rio. And this is known as the dangerous part. And they was like, yeah, watch out when you up here, man, you'll get a shot and all of that. I went up there. I shoot with the locals. They coming by. These people own the store where they sell acai. Acai is that little, it seemed like ice
it's a
cream.
berry. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you know what you're talking about. So people coming by buying acai. They put sprinklers on it. They spring ice cream. They had a dope neighborhood store selling acai. Everybody pulls up. So I'm mingling with them for hours. I'm talking about, I walked down the street. They're like, where's he going? Where's he going? Everybody freaking out. Yo, where did Yesh go? You need to go get Yeshi. Yeshi needs to come back. Yeshi needs to come back. Go get Yeshi. The father walked down there with me. The father. Now, this is the elder of the neighborhood. He walked down there. He said, he told me in Portuguese, I just want to see what you was doing. Now, he don't speak no English. He just said, I just want to see what you're doing. I'm with the locals with my iPhone out. Now, this is considered as you'll get murdered. I'm out there with the iPhone. Guess what the locals doing? I'm like, vai. Y'all see me on camera? I'm like, vai, precisa. Hey, ando, miota. The neighborhood is going crazy. It was like, man, I love this guy. When I left there, the mother hugged me. I'm talking about embrace me like I was their son. The father, he hugged me for a long time. He's like, man, you the best American that I've ever met. Just my energy.
It's your energy, right. And you speak the language very well, man. You have
exactly.
You speak the language very well.
So me and him could connect on language alone. And so every time J. Clyde and Grego would go around him, where's Yeshi? They expected me to come. And when I didn't come, you know what they were like? Like this, sitting around everybody. Because they was waiting on me to come. And that's what I do to cultures, and that's what they do to me. Is a push and pull, give and give.
They invigorate you.
Exactly.
They invigorate you, right.
And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You don't need to force the belonging. Just be you.
Yeah, I felt it, man.
Go there, they try to be other. They try to show off their money.
Right.
Just be normal. Be happy. Let all of that tension go.
Right. You're not in the West anymore. We was in a place called Casa Black with the guys, and that was pretty nice. Northside and but this the music, man. The fest. The drums are so powerful there in Brazil, man. I saw what you were doing with the gospel Brazilian music, but the drums are so powerful, man. Because they are Afro-Brazilian, it makes you feel one with Africa, because a lot of them are Africans. So when I heard the music, I mean, it just, man, I just felt at peace, man. I was so relaxed. And I think when I was down there, man, I slept good, man. I think I slept good. I slept pretty good when I was in my Airbnb. The sleep was good. The water was clean. I just felt at peace, man. There's some dangerous parts of Brazil as well. Every place has its pros and cons. But when you talk about the survival aspect, men are not surviving in America because of draconian laws like caustic child support laws. How was Brazil Yesh not surviving from a mental and a health standpoint in America, and also financially? And also, on the flip side, how are you surviving now as it relates to those elements?
Let me try to understand that question. How am I surviving from a mental? Again, all of the stuff that I just discussed is part of that. The people, the people not belonging, and get this, in the United States of America, man, it depletes you. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because the moment you don't wear shoes that the environment that you come from doesn't agree, the first thing they do is laugh at you. And they call that, yo, you better take it, man. We grew up like this. You better take me talking bad about your shoes. You better take me talking bad about your girl. You better take me talking bad about your living situation. You better take me talking bad about your car. Or if I do speak good of it, it's only going to be to a certain point if you don't reach this level as far as your car, your clothes, the woman that you have. So again, that's what it's about. But when you transition, it's none of that. And again, I don't want to rehash it. I don't want to sound redundant.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But again, there's some decency in that. There's some placement that you'll feel wanted. Like it'll make you adjust, and man, it'll put years on your life. So think about this: if you've been out the country for, let's just say, if you leave the country, you live out the country, and you really feel like this is what you should do, it'll literally put anywhere from 5 to 10 years on your life, what studies have shown.
I believe that.
Just visiting. They said just visiting a country or leaving a country, the United States of America, for just 1 week puts 2 to 5 years on your life.
5 years on your life. I believe that. Yes, sir. Right. Yeah, I believe that, man. I'm going to ask you this question also, Brazil Yesh, because that's part of survival. Travel is part of survival, but also not being around toxic people is survival. Now, let's look at the framework of your own experience. Let's talk about the cathartic moment. When you went to Brazil, many men talk about crying and shedding tears. Did you go through a catharsis?
Yeah, that cathartic moment is very real.
Yes, sir. Talk about it. Talk about it, brother.
Okay. Let me give you an example. Y'all remember Leia? My bad. I'm sweating here.
No, you're fine.
Y'all remember Leia? I told y'all about Leia. She was my first girlfriend or whatever like that. She was the first one that I was involved with. Here's the crazy part about it. Leia, I did the opposite of what everybody else does. Kosha, I'm gonna be real with you and you and your audience.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
I did the opposite of what everyone else does. I cried entering the country and smiled leaving.
Wow, that's weird. Wow, break that down.
Because most people cry when somebody dies, right? I don't cry when people die. I laugh when people die and celebrate them.
I see,
for
right.
being here, right? And I shed a tear when there's a birth of like somebody I'm close to, like my niece or somebody like that. If there's a child that I'm close to or whatever like that, or connected to my brother or my sister had children, and I'm connected to them like that, that's a tear. Like, man, birth. That person is here. There is a new energy. Is a new light. We need that refresher. I cry for the refresher. Most people cry for death. I'm like, death is the end. You're supposed to cry for the refresher, in my opinion. That's a refreshment. Your life is refreshed. New environment, new femininity, new cooperation, new encouragement, new food, new culture, new things that'll change your life. That's it. That should be a tear right there.
Right.
So I had the opposite of that cathartic moment. I'm going to just be real. I cried. And she was like, I'm sitting there, we driving. I'm feeling the energy. We get to the ocean, just silent. And you'll think I'm normal. I was talking and everything like that. And all of a sudden, no tear really, really dropped. But there was water right here. And I'm like, and my heart just started racing. And then my heart settled. And I breathed in the ocean. I said, yo, this is real.
This is real, right? People don't believe it's real, but it's real, man.
This is real.
Right.
Her embrace, the culture embrace. And I only was there for like 3 hours. And we were just sitting on the ocean. So I did the inverse of what everybody do. When I'm leaving, I'm happy. Yo, I done put about 10 years on my life, man. Fuck y'all. Oh.
No, you're right. You're right. You're all right, Brazil Yesh. Go ahead, brother. You're all right.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're right. You're right. You're all right, brother. Go ahead.
So I was like, yo, forget all that. I put 10 years on my life, put 5 years on my life. I put, like, I come back with energy. I know for a fact that I done had the most beautiful woman on earth. Why would I give a damn about a lady laughing at my shoe, a dude laughing at my shoes, a dude laughing at I don't have an expensive car? Why the hell would I care? Money's in my bank account. I'm building up my networks. I'm doing what I should do as a man. Cool. But I'm coming back with this, I ain't even gonna lie, with this arrogance. I'm coming back with arrogance. And so me, I had the inverse effect when I came back. And you see me now.
Yeah.
When I come back, I'm like, yo, forget all y'all. Forget what y'all talking about. Yeah, I'm going to, you see me on camera. I visited Jersey City about a year and a half ago. And I broadcast live. I brought the energy to Jersey City. Cats was like, yo, I be seeing your videos online. I'm like, yeah, man, you need to come. They ain't got that mindset. Peace.
Peace, right.
I'm not going to sit on your furniture. Yo, come over my crib. I ain't coming over your crib. I'm not doing that. I'm going back to my hotel room. I don't want to be around none of you ingrates. And people like, oh, yes, you can't be like that. They got to be woken up to. Again, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes, right. Respect.
If they ain't ready for the teacher, the travel teacher to appear or the travel lessons to appear, then that's on them.
That's on them.
They see my videos. They see if you don't have a passport by now, that's on you.
Right.
I can't wake you up no more than what I've been doing. And so many other guys. So that's what I come back with an arrogance. It's just me.
Well, fantastico. They get the accent. Fantastico. But you know what? That's very profound, man. Very profound. But we're going to get deeper into it and we're going to end the stream. I got to bring you back again, Brazil Yesh. Might even come on. Maybe I could do a stream on your show about mental wellness and mental health and world travel. But I got to bring you back again, man. We're going to talk about the caste system. It won't be today because right. We're gonna kill it. We're gonna kill it. You got a wealth of knowledge, man. Then I plan to go back to Brazil at some point, man. I want to go to Salvador by here. And I don't know where you're at, but maybe we can link up and we can chop it up.
No, I can always wherever you're gonna be, I can always be. Don't worry.
Okay, well, good. Now let's talk about the Blue Book gentleman versus the passport bro. I'm gonna promote you because I think that even though the movement is similar, but they're like how can I say, they're denominations. There are Protestants, but under the Protestant umbrella, there might be Catholics. I mean, not Catholic. Might be Church of God in Christ, Pentecostal, First Presbyterian, Episcopalian. So how's the Blue Book gentleman different than the passport bro? Are they one and the same, or are there nuances to the Blue Book gentlemen? What's the difference?
Well, again, you could say they're one and the same, is a mindset or whatever like that. But you can also say they're a little different because passport bros consider themselves as a movement. Again, I didn't come up with the term passport bros. King Sigma did. He broke that down on Rob's show last night on Passport Bros Excuse Podcast. So go over there. He broke that down last night on the history and how he came up with it. So again, that's not my term. I came up with my own concepts, and he said, "You passport bros." So that's all he said. But as far as me, Blue Book gentleman means is all encompassing. I invite everybody over who got positive, actually got some type of decorum, discipline, and stuff with their lower member. Who moves different as men, who operate from an adult perspective, who don't let their feelings go awry, who just move in a different light, but they still part of this whole passport bros thing, this passport movement. I call it the travel space. Everybody they call themselves the manosphere, white manosphere, black. I call it the travel space. So they part of the travel space. But again, they have Passport Bros have their own way of operating, and I'm in agreement with it because I know King Sigma and I know a lot of the guys that represent Passport Bros.
Right.
But and I pushed it for a while, and I still push it. There's nothing against it. But Blue Book Gentleman means that if I want to put on a suit, I'm not going to be judged. If I want to wear chicletas, I'm not going to be judged. If I want to wear a T-shirt on the beach, I'm not going to be judged. If I want to have decorum and discipline, you ain't going to say, yo, man, you don't want to drink. No, this dude don't want to drink. Respect it. Move on. Right? Dudes that want to pay attention to the laws overseas. Dudes that want to really educate people that's coming behind them or people that are in the same boat that they're in. Doesn't matter. Nobody's above anybody. Right? That's what Blue Book Gentlemen mean to me. You have some type of decorum, discipline, and you upright as a man. You work to get yours. You want to network. You want to work on your ailments. You want to work on those things that you're lacking. And if you want to talk about interpersonal skills, if you want to talk about social, you're not a good socialite. And things like that. You want to work toward becoming different, opening yourself. He's not going to be judged for doing that. He got a group of men that's going. Now, again, all men have jokes, but they're not going to do it in a malicious way. And to me, that's what Blue Book Gentleman means, is a certain decorum, is a certain discipline, is a certain uprightness with that.
Shout out to my man Will for the $2 super sticker. It's a salute and great interview. And you know what? It sounds like to me that the Blue Book Gentlemen sound like what I call bourgeoisie travelers. Because, I created a term called, and you're going to laugh at this, Brazil Yesh. And they talk about Pookie, but I call them the Pook Ma Pirate. That's like the thug that travel, and they steal the glory of that respected country. I call them the Puke because they call us Puke, and Ma because they were raised by their moms. And many times, if you grow up north or anywhere in the South, their moms raised them, and they be talking like this.
Kill some of my mom, bro. They back. That's on my monkey. That's on my monkey. That's on my.
They pook my pirates, man, because they go over to other countries, messing the ecosystem up. They super tricks. They just mess up the economy when they go over there. So I call them pook my pirates because they cause chaos when they go abroad, and they act ignorant, and they don't represent Blue Book Gentlemen or the greater encompassment of the Passport Bro movement. Exactly. When you think about the Blue Book Gentlemen, has there been any infighting, or it hasn't, between the concept of the Blue Book Gentlemen versus the Passport Bros?
Only faceless men. Faceless men, faceless women try to cause the division and say, yo, you saying this about Passport Bros. And I'm like, hold up. I know King Simi, he created all of that. Other people went with it and tried to create their own narrative from that. But I listened to him and what he thinks about that. So, no, it's not no infighting. I'm not saying that, again, he could do what he will with it. He came up with it. But you just see little comments and chats and stuff like that trying to cause division, but it doesn't work. I never acknowledge it. I always tell people, I never acknowledge stuff. That's why people leave me alone, because I don't give a damn about what they do. Right. I don't care about what they say about me. That's the decorum that I'm talking about. Because I can go in on some of these guys. I can keep going in on the dating coaches, but you got to pull back and learn when enough is enough, right? You done got your point out and stuff like that. So I know when it's my time. I know when to pull back. I know when to. So they try to do that, try to say, yo, Yesh said this, or I think he meant this. And then they put that out, and then I don't address it. I just stay quiet, like, oh, he said that. And keep moving.
Right,
and
keep moving,
And then if they put something in my chat, I just delete that comment. They could go over somebody else's platform, and those guys don't check them for it.
Right.
I check the people that leave a comment negatively, or I don't address it. I just delete them. Mm-hmm. They just be like, oh, why you don't want to mess with this content creator? Oh, you think you different because you created Passport Bros? This Blue Book Gentlemen.
Blue Book Gentlemen, right.
Passport Bros. I say, yo, this right here means something. When people see this logo, my shirts have been selling like crazy.
Yes, sir.
My hats have been selling like crazy. Everything has been selling like crazy. They're like, yo, I rock with that symbol. Yo, that symbol is so dope to me. That symbol has revolutionized what we're doing. Is sending us into a point, and then now we're shaping it behind the scenes. So now we all can come together, even with under the same umbrella as Passport Bros. So is nothing with that, but I just want to show, like, when you put that title, gentleman, it's got a new feel about it.
Right.
It's got a new stagnant. It's got the bespoke.
Right.
Approach to a suit about it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It does that automatically.
Right. It sounds very very bougie, or what I call, it has a nice je ne sais quoi. It has a very nice very nice je ne sais quoi. Shout out to my man Will for the $2. I think I said it before earlier. We're gonna end this stream in a minute, but you did an awesome job, man. I enjoyed you, bro. You killing the game, man. It's weird, man, when I do intros, man, and some brothers, man, we just flow, man. The energy is good, man. The intellectual energy is good. You're what they call a sapiophile. You're intellectual, and most Libras, well, not most Leos, and I'm a Leo. Most Leos and air signs do very well because the Leo's is very philosophical, but you're very intellectual as well. And this conversation is important. When you think about the symbols, I don't know what the symbols mean, because somebody might think I'm a joke, but they're gonna call you the passport boule. But
no, that's what they call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just made it up. Okay.
She said I'm part of the Illuminati. She put that out on TikTok.
Who said that?
One of these chicks made a video and said this symbol is part of the Illuminati.
Well, I don't know. I mean, is it? I don't think it is. But.
No. All this means is like all of us going up, right? This is the plane at the top, the plane at the very tip. The blue is considered as the passport, is representative of an open book of a passport, right?
Okay, gotcha.
And the bottom is a shield. It means men, us all going up together. Men.
Right.
Up together. So that's all that means.
Oh, that's dope. And what is the Santagu on the U? What is that?
Oh, that's the U. It's the pronunciation.
Right.
Is the accent mark. So instead of saying it's blue, those two accent marks create the ooh in the U.
Blue.
So blue, yeah.
Blue. Well, that's dope. That's dope, man. I'm proud. I'm proud of you, man. It's safe to say that your movement is a movement within a movement, and I think it's a movement.
Exactly.
Right, it's a movement within a movement.
A little
right.
movement within the Passport Bros all-encompassing movement.
Right. It's almost like a branch, a denomination of a bigger branch. But as we begin to end this stream, man, what did you get from the stream? And before you answer that, there was somebody that coined the term catch flights, not feelings. Why is it important for men?
Mr. Flip Flop. I heard Mr. Flip Flop say
Mr. Flip Flop, right. So why is it important for men to catch flights, not feelings?
Listen, I created a hashtag, and it's popping too. NOMP, NOMP.
NOMP.
Nothing over my passport.
Okay, all right.
Nothing over my passport. Nothing
over my passport, right.
You get what I'm saying? If you put that hashtag in on Google, everything gonna pop up. So all I'm saying is, catch flight, not feelings. When you get in your feelings, you ruin the access to everything of surrounding around your encompassing the passport. You can't go overseas when you get in your feelings.
I see, right? Gotcha.
You get women pregnant when you get in your feelings, right?
Yeah.
You make bad decisions when you get in your feelings, right? You lose the importance of family when you get in your feelings, right? And the list goes on and on and on of what can happen when you get in your feelings. We don't want that. NOMP, nothing over my passport.
Nothing over my passport. I like that, man. That's dope. That's dope. Well, listen, we're going to end the stream in a minute, and this has been a very good show, man. You're very erudite, very thorough, very intellectual. I love your energy. You're a good brother, and like I said, at some point, I'm coming back to Brazil. I need to add some years to my life because being a therapist is a dream. I need to, man. I need to bring some joy to the world, man. You know, because I got a big personality. You know, and sometimes you'll burn out.
Don't tell me they pull it in.
Man.
I look at us like a sponge. Real quick before you go,
Yes, sir.
Look at us like a sponge. The sponge is wet, right? When we born in this life, the sponge is very wet. All of us are sponges, right? By the time we end off in life, some sponges are brittle and some start peeling off early and cease early. And that's what America's doing. But then what happens is when you picture a sponge getting on the plane and riding over, right? When you ride over, your sponge becomes more moist and it gets back to fluffiness and it gets back to the shape that it should be when liquid touches it or H2O.
Right. It needs to be revived, man. And, there needs to be a revival of sorts in America. I want to ask you this question real quick. This is another one. Every time I say I'm going to end it, the question keep coming up. But have you had any death threats, and how do you deal with the toxic women that come against you? So, one, have you dealt with any death threats? Two, how do you deal with the toxic women and toxic men?
I know too many thugs that get down and that'll die for Yesh owners. Let's just say that.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's just lay their life down for me. So let's just say that. So nobody approaches like that, right? Even when I go to Costa Rica, I visit Costa Rica a lot. I'll leave Brazil and go to Costa Rica. Even when a dude sit the 45, he'll sit the 45 on the table and say, "Take that to the store with you."
Oh, really?
If you don't want to carry it, I'll go with you.
Oh, wow.
That's how much I'm connected with the locals. But most people can't have those connections, right? So that's what I don't want to carry it. No, well, I'll go with you. And if you move wrong, he's going to let you have it. If you're in a threatening position against me. That's how much love I have for the locals. And people seen that on camera. They're like, damn, why everybody like Yesh? I don't like him. America, this is crazy. All of the travelers don't like me, even the content creators. You got a lot of them who don't like me.
Really?
And I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. They think I'm not trying to. I'm like, yo, you don't represent what I represent. I don't. I got to have some type of decorum and discipline around my name. You promoting this, you're talking crazy, you calling women all type of names, and then you want me to come on your show.
I respect that.
I don't operate like that.
Right.
I don't. So they don't understand how much I protect my name. So you'll have that. So all I'm saying to you, I get love. And what was the second part of that question? Do you have any depth? And then the other one?
Right. I was asking about death threats, but also how do you deal with the toxic nature of women that try to shame what you're trying to promote, and also the men as well?
I ignore them.
Okay.
Yes, I ignore them. My pops, let me just say, my pops is like almost 80 years old, right?
My dad is too.
Yeah. So when you got somebody, my pops know how to let stuff roll off his back. Like I've never seen a man in my life.
Right. Good job. I like that. Right.
You know how to. So my pops taught me. He said, "Listen, you're 6'7". My pops is only 5'7".
No, man, come on.
I put that on my life. My pops me and him look just like people. Jay Clyde and all them saw my dad. It was like, yo, you look just like it. Where you get your height from? I said, my grandfathers and my uncles and them. It comes from the certain bloodline. But my pops is literally only 5'7", bro.
Your pops is Master Yoda, man. Your dad, Master Yoda.
My pops, and he'll take a tree down when I was younger. He'll fight you.
Right.
Get down. So all I'm saying is my pops learned how to let a lot of stuff roll off his back. He said, listen, you're a tall black man in the United States of America. He said, you got to know when to stuff to fight for and when to learn to let a lot of stuff go. That's why you see people say stuff about me. People have videos about me in a negative way on YouTube. I've never responded.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I thought you were well liked, man. That's new.
I never responded because I hold myself in a different light, and my pops taught me how to control my emotions in certain aspects. He was like, you got to know when to react, and you got to know. He said, anybody that knows that just reacts to everything, they not well prepared.
Right. Good point.
He was
Excellent
like,
point.
what you mean? I said, Pop, what you mean? He was like, think about this. A person that's aware and a person that has everything set for them for the future, right? They know how to respond. But a person that doesn't have anything set, that feels inadequate, that feels inferior, that feels like somebody could get to them, they react.
That's an excellent point. I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's an excellent
That's
point.
what he taught me.
I love that, man. I love that. You know, you 6'7", I'm 6'5", 6'6". Being that tall, walking in Brazil, has it brought you star celebrity to some degree?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
They say Michael Jordan, the ladies. Now, it did, Kosher, you're gonna hear this and your mouth gonna drop. A lady told me I was too large for her. She was like, no, he's too tall for me. She turned me down, bro.
Really? Wow.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, I said, are you serious? Bro, she walked from on the right side of me, walked over on the side of her friend away from me, whispered in her friend's ear, and again told her friend, yeah, she said you too large.
Wow.
I was like, am I hearing this correctly? Right. I've never seen where my height could be a detriment, but this is how it goes against their narrative. Because with everybody, the one lady said in the video, oh, they claiming that they're basketball players, aiming it to me, claiming that they're basketball players and all of this stars and all of this. And I'm like, do you know I was turned down for my height several times in Brazil?
Right.
So, but in America, I'm looked at as royalty. Like whenever women see me, they're like, oh, I just love him. His height, he's dark skinned, he's handsome. I got all of the sixes that they like in America. But in Brazil, it was the inverse effect several times. So that's what I'm saying. So people say, oh, Michael Jordan, all of the fellas come around. Everybody think I got a lot of money. Let's just call it what it is. Everybody in Brazil, all of the men think I got a lot of money. The women don't give a damn about that.
Right.
The women don't give a damn about that. They don't care. They're like, yo, they ain't doing nothing for me. I'm working. I have respect for myself, and don't throw your money in my face.
Yes, sir. Right.
That's all it is. So we can end off that, man. Again, Kosher, thank you for bringing me on, man.
Thank you, brother.
We got to break down what you're saying. I don't know
if
you
no
got
doubt.
any last words. I just want to say my piece, and I just want to thank you for bringing
me on. No. Thank you, man. You a stand-up brother, man. You personify your logo of a blue book gentleman. Your decorum is impeccable. Your Portuguese is immaculate. I mean, it's clean, very clean. I might start calling you Kosher Portuguese because
you know I'm Hebrew, so we use kosher, the word kosher, all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
My government name is Yesh. Yesh. Why
Yesh.
Yeah.
Oh, Yesh. Yes.
Yes, Jonas. Right. That's my government name. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Now, what is Jonas? Jonas. Does that
Jonas means dove. It means purity. It comes from like over there in Ethiopia / like is also is a Semitic name. So it's like dove, purity. It means cleanliness. It means purity.
Oh wow! I never knew that, man. So that makes this sounds prophetic, man. You know, this sounds very prophetic. But listen, man, it was a pleasure bringing you on, man. Love you, brother. We will do this again. I love your energy, man. And send me that video you were telling me about the woman who was lying on you, talking about you're a ball player and all that. Send it to me.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna just send you the link in your email.
Okay, that's cool, dog. All right.
And again, I appreciate Kosher for bringing me on here, man.
No doubt.
Man, this has been very. I never get to be intellectual on most of these platforms.
Yeah, I know. Right, I know. Right.
You brought it out.
I brought it out. Right.
For years.
Right. Well, you know
Jay Clyde always tell me. He said, "Yo, you went on that guy's platform and it like you held back." But when Jay Clyde and Grego watch this, they're gonna be like, "Yo, that is it." They know what they hear it every day. They they know what I present, they know what I got, but the audience doesn't know. But you brought out and I want to thank you for being the most intellectual guy that I
appreciate it, man.
Able to have an interaction with. Not saying those other guys wasn't.
No, I understand, man. I get that all the time, man. You know,
but I'm getting this is your field.
Right.
This is your field, the knowledge. So it's just happy to be around somebody that this is their field. And this ain't this guy's field. These guys just want to travel. They got different professions, but this is your field. And I felt it coming, like when I heard your videos and doing my research, I was like, oh, I gotta come different with culture. I gotta come different.
You gotta come different, dog. You gotta come different.
I was like, yo, you got this, bro. He's like, oh, this you going on his show today? I thought that was just I said, I'm going on his show. He said, I know you're about to come up with it because this is what you like to do. Shout out to Theo. Theo is training me on AWS certification right now.
Yes, sir. Good brother.
Cloud certification. So
that's a good brother. Yeah. Theo, good brother. Good brother.
But again, go on yesowners.com if y'all want shirts. I hate to do this plug on kosher.
No, you fine, man. You fine, brother.
But I want y'all to have this. And why y'all didn't donate to this man? Y'all should have gave more chats. This man been on here for 3 hours with me. You guys should have. And again, and Coach, I know you ain't part of this, but I want to say this. He should have had several super chats come across the screen.
Right.
And for him to only have the few that he had, I know he's humble enough, but this man gives his all. He was on here 3 hours giving you guys knowledge. So hit his Cash App after this. Even if you listen to this on the playback, find a Cash App for him.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Right.
Do a thanks in the comment section. They got those thanks that you could do now when he's not live.
Right.
Give to his thanks, man, because man, this guy galvanized me. It's hard for somebody to come along and just have me out the gate dropping knowledge. And he pulled it out.
Right. Well, listen, man, that's our Leo swag. And, I'm glad you said that, man, because I don't think people understand how putting it's good brothers like Andrew Baker always showing love. It's always the few that donate and show love. It's always the few. If it weren't for the few, sometimes I don't even know if I'll be doing this, man, because even though I enjoy doing it, I'm a licensed therapist, man. I'm not no damn Joe Blow. I'm a licensed. So it takes a lot of time, man. And so, it makes me sort of upset because you got, and I don't get me wrong, there's been some good brothers have shown love, but it's the same ones that do it. You have a nice audience and, only a few, will show love, man. And they don't understand that content creation is an art, but also it's time consuming. And so
it's mentally draining.
It's mentally draining, man. Right. Doing the research, sitting for 3 hours, man. But editing, yes, it takes a lot of time to edit it, man. In my earlier days, sometimes I'll go to bed 3 o'clock, but I had to fall back from it, and I'm gonna fall back even more because I'm not down there for no damn YouTube, man. As much as I love the brothers, I'm gonna be over there with you, man, catching flights, man. Recalibrating my mind and making more money in my profession because my profession can make me real money. YouTube is just something I do on the side to play with. But I appreciate you saying that, man. That make me feel good, man. I really appreciate that, brother.
And I appreciate it. If they could target me, they could be mad at me. They could say, well, yes, we doing it. Bull, I don't want to hear that. Y'all could be mad at me because I know it rolled off my back. Kosher, now he get Yes Jonas and let a lot of stuff roll off his back that he should have brought to light about people saying bad about him. But man, thank you. I understand the hard work you put in. Again, thank you for bringing on. Hopefully after this, they start donating, they start putting it in there. And I called y'all out. I mean.
So right. I appreciate that, man.
Y'all don't give to me much. Listen, Kosher Condition. I got 22 books that I wrote. I make income from that. I make income from my T-shirts, and I make income from several avenues of income. So they don't have to support me on YouTube, and I appreciate it just like you. But they should have did you much better on this live stream that I'm thinking. And salute to you, and that's all I'm saying.
No. I agree with you, man. You being, what I call a lot of people emulate and use some of your clips for their shows. And I'm like, man, I got Yes Jonas in the house, man. Yeah. And I don't get I try to get heavy hitters, man. And like I said, I've had guys who've shown love over the years, but it fluctuates, man.
No, it shouldn't be, like you said, it shouldn't be the same guys. It's
always the same brothers, man. The same good brothers. I want for the same good brothers like the Andrew Bakers, the past Polo G's. It's always the same brothers, man.
And the big, what's it?
Big Boss Real Talk.
He showed Real Talk.
I've done shows with Big Boss. He's a good brother, man. But people got to understand that we give our all when we do these shows, man. But as I continue to explore other areas, I will continue to do this. But I'm also going to look at other avenues in content creation. If I decide, I just kicked out this computer right here, man. This computer's over $3,000. This is almost a 4,000. I lied to you not, bro. Almost 4,000. Let me show you. If you think I'm That's an Alienware. So you know anything about an Alienware? This is the 17.
Hell yeah.
And I paid it straight out of my own pocket, man. So I don't give corny production. I put my heart into it. I probably kicked out like $10,000-$15,000 last year, man. With all the production and stuff, man. So I put a lot of work and heart in it, man. So I appreciate you speaking up, man. And to the brothers that always give and show love, man, I appreciate it.
Yo, salute to everybody that gives. We're going to make this positive. Salute to everybody that gave to Kosher. I'm not saying nothing about you. All you that hit the thumbs up, all of you that shared the stream. Just sharing the stream was good.
Yeah, this sharing the stream was good, right?
Let's not what you go. But I'm saying there's a lot of guys that are upwardly mobile that's supposed to be passport bros, blue book gentlemen, expats, all of this stuff. Got businesses and property and all of that stuff that listen and entertain while they're working. We entertain you while you're working, so at least you can hit that button. The upwardly mobile guys. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Coastal Clinician, thanks.
All right, brother. Much love. I'm in off, man.
I don't know if you want to talk to your audience after I leave.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a few.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Peace out.
Right.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Thank you, brother. All right, no doubt, guys. And once again, that was Yesh Jonas. Shout out to my man, Passport OG. He said shout out to two of my favorites. And I appreciate it. And listen, guys, as I told you guys in the past, I don't want to make this thing about no money. It ain't really about the money. It is, but it ain't. I appreciate everything that everybody does. But I want to see more people not only disseminate the content, but share it, but also show love in your donations, but show love by just doing your thing, man, because like I said, these shows are time consuming. And once again, I appreciate to everyone that have donated in the past, always to the good brothers like Andrew Baker, Ray Johnson, Brandon Jett, always the good brothers, I appreciate that. So guys, share the stream on tonight. It's been a good one. And I appreciate the Big Bass, man. Big Bass said, the most underrated show. I'm here for it, brother. It's excellent. I'm working and watching, no doubt. I appreciate the Big Bass. You and I always talk in the background. And guys, we're going to sign off. Thank you, Rodder in Washington, for sharing the stream. And guys, we're going to sign off. Theo, man, we're going to do it again at some point, brother. We need to do another show, Theo. And we're going to make it happen, guys, at some point. So, guys, I'm about to sign off. If you guys haven't been emasculated, go get the book by my man, Edward Fields IV. And guys, go check that book out now.
Have you been distressed or perplexed? Emasculated. A book written by Edward Fields IV. Everything that needs to be known about men in modern time. Listen, men are not complex. They are misunderstood and unappreciated. Learn what men really feel, think, and desire. Also observe their struggle for acceptance, love, and belonging. A must read for every man in this classic book by Edward Fields IV, Emasculated. Go get your copy now.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lie like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's What did you think? You could say whatever and I would never. Yeah. You've been flexing everywhere. Girl, look in the mirror. Man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. If I control the weather, then every day would rain on your parade. Shine, you can't change, yeah. If I was Father Time, then I would change the day. So I never saw your face. Hey, please. What do I have to do to make you go? Oh. Baby, it's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just pull it out and count for nothing when I'm feeling great. Give my baby little more just to spend it, and I'm always on go, I don't hesitate. Used to always know I make it, yeah. I'll be me until I'm in the grave, yeah. See my record, had to set it straight, yeah. I made to kill like 10 times 10. I got wires coming in, some in euros, some in sec, some in dollars, some in yen. I've been trying to keep my zen, keep my cool. Trying to keep the family fed, get my food. They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. Did it, do it. I did it all, no gimmicks. I did it all, no fibbing. Now I got all these children, now I got all these clones. Now I got all you twinning, now I got all you thinking like all you winning. They tried to count me out, they tried to fill that doubt. They tried to ride my wave, they tried to knock me out. They tried to count my wins, they tried to show my L's. They tried to make me in, they tried, but where they now? Where they? Step in the spot and they stare at me. All of these battles will bear me. I swear that nothing compares to me. Feeling blessed, I won't stress. Beat the odds, you know the rest. They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend.
Fire for your mind. Culture, clinician.